Hello you guys, this is Kim and bienvenidos to your love and relationships reading for June 2023, where we are going to take a look at 3 different relationship dynamics, which are your relationship with yourself, your platonic relationships, as well as your romantic relationships or romantic prospects, to find out what it is that you can expect in each one of them for the month of June. Okay, so before I give you a closer look at the options, a quick reminder that nothing is set in stone because energy is always changing and shifting in response to our actions, our choices, decisions, way of thinking. So if there is something in the reading that you hear that you don't like, you are most likely hearing about it because there is something that you can do to change the situation. Because even in things that are out of our control, how we choose to respond to those specific situations can make a huge difference. It can completely change how we experience that specific situation. Yeah, so just that quick reminder. But now let us take a closer look at the representatives of each group. So for group 1, we have the polar bear. For group 2 is the lion. And for group 3 is the stingray. So as always, take as much time as you need in order to choose your group. You can pause the video if you need more time. And once you have chosen, then head on over to the comment section or the description box down below where the timestamps for each group is provided so that you can skip right on over to your reading. Okay, but now that you have chosen, let's get right into your messages. Let's go. Hello you guys who chose the polar bear, bienvenidos to your reading. So before I start shuffling the decks, I would like to quickly go over the list of everything that we are going to cover in this reading. So as always, I will begin by sharing with you what I intuitively picked up on when connecting with the energy of your group. Once I have done that, I will then start shuffling the decks, pulling out both tarot and oracle cards to find out 3 things. Number 1, what it is that you can expect in the month of June when it comes to your relationship with self. Number 2, what it is that you can expect when it comes to your platonic relationships. So your friendships, relationship with family members, and so forth. And last but not least, we are going to take a look at your romantic love life. And to wrap up the reading, I will be pulling out some extra cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance from Spirit. Okay? But now let us get started. So there were quite a few messages that came to mind when tapping into this group's energy, which were staying in your lane, welcoming or welcoming home, take time to breathe, reserved and reserving your energy, being playful, and letting loose. So these are the specific messages that came to mind. And what I am intuitively sensing for this group is that in the month of June, you are choosing who to share your personal matters with. Like you're being very selective. So there's no oversharing going on, especially with strangers or with people that you don't really know or you don't really vibe with. So you are practicing some boundaries in the month of June. I also see you being very careful and mindful of what it is that you choose to share. Yeah, because looking at this image, it looks like this polar bear is frozen in place. So it's like creating pause. Like before I react, before I take action, before I say anything, let me create pause. And with the message welcoming home, someone could be visiting you in the month of June and you will be welcoming this visitor into your home. They could be staying over for a couple of days or staying the night or just could be visiting for an afternoon. Yeah, but now I'm going to move into the cards. Oh, actually, I want to share the message that is on the back of this card. So we have polar bear with camouflage and the message, in the presence of polar bear, we are reminded that blending in can be as useful and courageous as standing out. Like his winter in deep, silent contemplation, we are able to achieve new insight. By standing back and observing, we are able to ready ourselves to share our most powerful gifts. With polar bear's tact, we learn to cloak ourselves in shadow, waiting for the right moment to emerge. He imparts patience, teaching us to employ strategy to carry on. Yeah, so I see you being quite the observer in the month of June. Like, instead of getting involved in conflict and arguments and drama or gossip, you're taking the background approach. Like, you're taking a step back from the situation and seeing it from a more unbiased viewpoint and getting a lot of insight as well over the situation. And detaching from the situation as well, like not getting swept away in the drama or in the conflict. Yeah, very interesting. Polar bear might be a significant animal for some of you guys. This could actually be a spirit animal of yours, or a spirit animal that will be working with you in the month of June, especially when it comes to love and relationships. Okay, but now we are going to take a look at your relationship with self for the month of June. So let me pull out an oracle card. A tarot card. So we have the Eight of Swords upright with feeling trapped, blind to the truth, and self-limiting. What just came to mind was the phrase Ice Queen. Some people might be labeling you as an ice queen, or they might be thinking of you as an ice queen, and it is because you are being less involved in drama, or you're choosing not to be involved in any drama or conflict. Like, you're choosing to keep your opinions to yourself, or you're just being very selective about when you do choose to share your opinions. Like, if everyone is screaming and arguing and yelling, you might not choose to speak up then, because you know that you aren't going to be heard. But when it's more silent, when it's more quiet, when everybody is calmed down, that's when you might choose to speak up, because you know that you will be heard. And what you will be saying, it's not noise, it's something important, it's something of value. So it could be something like that. You might surprise others also, because you might be keeping very quiet, very silent, very to yourself, might be very reserved, and then all of a sudden you might choose to speak up, and what you say is really impactful. What you say is very meaningful, eye-opening. Okay, but to clarify this energy, we have extroverted. Interesting. An energy of excitement, chatter, socializing may come your way. It is needed. Spend time out. And we also have the key term animated and the number 48. So the Eight of Swords is very interesting because it can look like that energy of being reserved, keeping to yourself. You're quiet, you're silent because you are reserved. That's the image it portrays. Yet, at the core, it isn't exactly that, because the Eight of Swords denotes feeling helpless or hopeless. It's feeling like you don't have a say in a situation. It's feeling like your opinion doesn't matter, so why opinionate? Like, your voice isn't powerful, so why speak? Why communicate? The Eight of Swords could also signify a situation in which you do feel like you're being silenced. Like, there is some external source that is keeping you from speaking up. But the Eight of Swords is very tricky because it isn't an actual indicator of what is happening in your reality. It's more like what you think or you believe is the truth. So if one is feeling helpless and hopeless, it's not because the person is helpless or the situation is hopeless. It's more that they think that it is, and so they behave accordingly. So when it comes to your relationship with self, you might struggle with speaking up. You might struggle with sharing your opinions. And it could be because in the past, every time you spoke up, every time you shared your opinion, you were shut down or you were silenced in some way. For example, when you were a little kid, every time you wanted to share about your day, maybe an authoritative figure or a parental figure told you to be quiet or told you were being noisy. And so that over time led to this belief that what you thought didn't matter, or anything that you said, and it's interesting how I said noise, like anything that you said or anything that you wanted to share was just noise. It wasn't of value. It wasn't important. This is just a belief. It isn't the truth. And so what I see happening is that you could start off the month feeling quite conflicted about whether or not your opinions matter, whether you should speak up or not. because we do have this extroverted card and we literally have an open door. So that's making me think of like expressing yourself. And it's also making me think of a closet, like the closet that you have kept everything that you have suppressed over time. And it's like sometime in the month of June, you are opening this closet. You're letting it out, in other words. And so there's this new belief and this old belief that are battling it out. Like the old belief that your voice is insignificant and this new belief that your voice is of significance. That's the inner conflict. And so there might be some hesitation in the month of June. You know, you might fall back into old belief, old mindsets, old mentalities that weren't serving you, that were disempowering you, that were making you feel like the victim in a situation or making you feel insignificant even. But then I do see you coming out of it because we do have this extroverted card. So it's like there might be moments in which you might feel very reserved, very quiet. And it could be because you're choosing this, like you're choosing to keep quiet, as we mentioned with the polar bear. But there could be other situations in which it's more like your fears and insecurities that are holding you back, that are silencing you. And once you realize, once you realize what is happening, that it's these old beliefs, this old mindset, these insecurities and fears that are creating this silence, that's when you choose to kind of push through and break out of it, come out of that energy, of that mentality. And that's when you enter into this more extroverted energy. And extroverted could simply be, being a little bit more talkative, choosing to voice an opinion, choosing to speak up for yourself, stand up for yourself, possibly even choosing to say no, because maybe this could even be a situation in which someone asks something of you and these like old beliefs, mindsets, fears, insecurities kick in and you say yes when in reality you want to say no. And it could be because you've been dealing with people-pleasing tendencies, or you have a fear of rejection or abandonment or being judged or criticized. And so your first instinct might be to say yes in order to please, in order to fit in. And so you might struggle with that for a while, but then you realize, okay, I said yes because of this, but it's not really what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say was no. And then that's when you choose to step out, of the fears, insecurities, old beliefs in order to express your actual truth, in order to say no. Yeah, so there might be this back and forth. It's like I see you retreating sometimes, going within, maybe still healing, maybe still working through some stuff, some fears, subconscious beliefs, limited beliefs, and so forth. But then I see you coming out of it. It's like you're not staying in there, Think of this doorway here as the doorway into the room of healing and introspection and shadow work. You're not staying in there for a long periods of time, for the entire month. You're choosing to retreat every once in a while to process some things, but once you're done, or once you feel like you've done enough, you get out of it. You come out of that space and into the world, and you enjoy your day-to-day. You allow yourself to laugh and have fun and be joyful and experience all of your human emotions without shame or without guilt. Yeah, the other thing that is popping up here is that some of you guys might hide how you truly feel. You're hiding your struggles. Your public image might be very extroverted, very fun, always laughing, always being playful, energetic, always smiling. But in the inside you're hurting, you're struggling with something. And if that resonates with you, sometimes this is more hurtful because pretending that we're okay when we're not can reinforce this feeling of helplessness or hopelessness because we're not taking the time to address what is bothering us, what is hurting us. And because we're not taking the time to address the issue, it makes the issue seem even more impossible to address. It's like looking at a hill. You have the ability to climb that hill, to get to the top of the hill. But because you don't give yourself an opportunity to climb it, you just look at it. The more you look at it, the bigger that hill seems. The more you make it out to be a mountain, when in reality it's just a hill. If you were to tackle it head on, if you were to start climbing it, you will realize that, hey, it's not a mountain, it's actually just a hill. So that's kind of like the vibe I'm getting. Like, by you avoiding an issue, you are depriving yourself of an opportunity to see that you have everything in you needed to address this issue, to heal it, to work through it. Like, you actually aren't powerless when it comes to this situation. You have all the power to overcome it or to improve the situation. Yeah, so that's why it's often advised to, not brush over something or not suppress something that is troubling you or hide it, because it will only build up over time. Some things do take time. We can't force healing. So it's often recommended to address something when you're ready to address it. But it's also important to note when we are starting to avoid, because avoiding doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you a stronger person. It doesn't make you more resilient. What it can create is you becoming more numb to what you feel, numb to your needs. Yeah, so know that you aren't helpless and you aren't hopeless. And know that you can acknowledge what it is that you're going through. And we did speak about being selective of who you share your personal matters with. So since that message came up, I do feel like there are people around you that you can share with what it is that you are struggling with. And they can actually help you see things from a new perspective. Get out of like a mental blockage. Because sometimes when we keep things to ourselves and we ruminate about it, it's very difficult for us to see the situation from a new angle. And so it almost makes it feel like the situation is impossible, or we can't see the exit. So it's like sometimes it does well to share with others, because others have a new perspective and they might even have an unbiased perspective. And they can see the exit better than us because they haven't been on this for a really long time. Because when we're on the same thing, we can become tunnel visioned, just seeing one outcome, one dead end, but not being able to see all that is around. And so, yeah, it could be that if you do choose to share what you're struggling with someone else, they will help you see the exit, or they will help guide you, or they will bring you some clarity, much needed clarity that you need, much needed release as well. Yeah, so you're not trapped is the overall message. You're not a prisoner to your mind. And I see you realizing that more and more, that you're not a prisoner to your mind and or to your thoughts or your intrusive thoughts. You're not a prisoner to your intrusive thoughts. We become a prisoner when we believe that we are. I know that's a very corny and cheesy message, but as someone who has dealt and deals with intrusive thoughts and obsessive thinking, I have found this to be extremely true. Well, at least it has been true for me. We become a prisoner when we believe that we are. Yeah, and so I do see you reclaiming your power, choosing for yourself. Yeah, and choosing to speak up. There could be a point in the month of June where you start debating whether you should speak up about something, whether you should voice your opinion, whether you should say no to someone. But I do see you choosing to speak up at the end. Yeah, I do see you choosing to stay true to you. You're respecting yourself, and you're also respecting others by being respectfully honest with them. Yeah, I know I used the word respect too many times, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. Yeah, because being fair to others also means being honest with them. Not in a cruel way, because I feel like some people take that to extremes. Like, they excuse their meanness, their rudeness, their crudeness with, I'm just being honest. But, being honest is not about being rude, being mean, being disrespectful. We can be honest whilst being respectful of others and ourselves. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing. The number 48 made me think of healing, working on yourself, healing an inner part of you. It could be your inner child, but I'm even getting like possibly your inner teenager or young adult. Like, every time you choose to speak up for yourself, you're protecting an inner part of yourself. You're healing an inner wound. But now I'm going to move into your platonic relationships. Okay, I'm going to put this back. So, friendships, your relationship with family members, people that feel like family to you. Okay. So we have the King of Coins with grounded, successful, and business empire. And to clarify this energy, so card flipped over, and it's intoxicated with hypnotized, the number 58, and the message: a situation may make you feel intoxicated. Not literally, but mentally and emotionally. Be sure to not get lured into any illusions. So immediately I felt that this King of Coins was representing the energy of someone who will be playing a significant role in your life in the month of June. The King of Coins is an earth sign, so Taurus, Virgo, and or Capricorn. So this person could be an earth, sun, moon, or rising sign, but they don't have to be, because again, this is more just expressing the energy. So I do feel like in the month of June, there could be a relative, a friend, or even, this could even be someone that you work with, like kind of an acquaintance, that could be pushing your buttons in the month of June. The word triggering keeps coming to mind, but I try not to use that word lightly or casually because it is a very loaded word. But since it does keep coming up, it could be that this King of Coins might be triggering some inner wounds. Or the other thing I'm getting is that it could be triggering a part of your ego that is wounded. Yeah, they could be saying something or doing something that will be bringing up some insecurities or fears. Because with intoxicated, it gives me this feeling of someone being consumed by anger. You know, like when someone purposefully riles another person up, and it's kind of to get a specific response out of them, like anger. Yeah, and it's interesting how we specifically have feeling intoxicated mentally and emotionally. So this could be someone who's very aware of what you are dealing with, of your insecurities, of what your buttons are, and they are purposefully targeting that. I am getting a very like purposeful, intentional vibe from this King of Coins actions. We did get that message of taking time to breathe, because it's like, you know that this King of Coins is possibly trying to get a response out of you, and instead of pleasing them, you know, giving them exactly what you want, you're deciding, you're choosing to take a step back. It's like, no, I know your games. And it's interesting because we actually have this King of Coins and it looks like they're betting, like they're gambling. Yeah, it's like, I know your games. I know what you're up to, and I won't give you the pleasure. I won't. And so I'm choosing to not engage with you. That's the feeling I'm getting. It's like not engage with this King of Coins. Not letting this King of Coins play mind games with you. Yeah, because that's the other feeling I'm getting with intoxicated. It's like mind games. So like the advice here is to not believe whatever this King of Coins is saying, because all they want is to get a response out of you, or they're just being very, very careless with what they're saying or what they're doing. Yeah, because the vibe I get from this King of Coins, I don't know why, it's like either very calculated, a bit manipulative, or they have no clue. Like this is someone who doesn't take the time to think before they speak. They just say whatever comes to mind, and it could be things that they don't even mean, or like they're saying things they don't even understand themselves. And so it's like, don't give this King of Coins so much importance. Don't fuel their ego, because I feel like you guys already know this King of Coins. Like, you know this King of Coins behavior. You have a lot of experience with them. So it's like knowing their personality, knowing what they're all about, knowing how they react. You know it's best to not engage with this King of Coins or not take them seriously. Yeah, because I feel like you have come to this awareness and realization. Like this King of Coins is just, you know, it could be that they have their own issues to work through that they haven't worked through yet, or they're speaking out of pain, they're speaking out of fear, limited thinking, and so forth, or just cluelessness. Yet still knowing this, what this King of Coins says might still hurt. And it's normal because we're humans, you know? Like if things hurt, they hurt. It's like if we go up to a rose, you know, still knowing that the rose has thorns, but we still grab it because we're kind of mesmerized by the rose, and then we get pricked. Getting pricked is going to hurt. But even though we get like hurt in the moment, we know that we can still pull out that thorn. It doesn't have to stay there. It doesn't have to create an infection. We can pull it out and then heal because we have that awareness now. Like we know, okay, I don't have to hold on to the pain. I don't have to keep that thorn in my finger forever. I can remove it because I have the power to do so. So it's like you don't have to let this person get to you in that way where you're stuck on what this person said, or you have to kind of wait for this person's approval or for this person to validate you in some way. Like there's no need for that anymore. You realize that. I feel like it's more like a message here of not letting this person get to you and not falling into this person's trap, you know, by giving them a response or a reaction that they were waiting for, that they literally set you up for. Because that infuriates people who are wanting to see the worst side of you. It's like, you can't get to me in that way. You can't. I ain't about entertaining you. Go entertain yourself in some other way because I ain't gonna do it. I ain't your fool. That's that kind of vibe I'm getting. You know, it's interesting because kings, they do like have fools, like they hire fools to entertain them. And it's like, no, I'm not gonna play that role for you. I'm above that, way above that. Yeah, so whoever this King of Coins is, the King of Coins can often represent a father figure, but it could be like an older brother, a parental figure, or it could be just someone who does have a higher position or is an authoritative figure, you know, like a boss or a manager, a supervisor, or someone who is older than you. But, you know, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, so just be mindful of that for the month of June. And I did mention how some of you could be getting a visitor. So this could be someone who is visiting you, or it could be someone who is visiting the family, like an uncle or something like that, who just tends to gossip or talk a lot, overshare, you know, give their unwanted advice. Yeah, so yeah, it could be someone that is harmless, completely harmless, like they're not intending to hurt you or anything like that. It's just that they have this habit of, you know, butting into people's business, of giving unwanted advice and so forth. And that could be quite irritating and quite frustrating, but it's like, don't get caught in the moment or allow yourself to get all riled up. Again, like if you need to set your boundaries in a respectful manner, then do so. But you don't have to enable this King of Coins by emotionally reacting. But now I'm going to move into your romantic love life. Ooh, that was fast. Ooh, so we have the Magician upright with resourcefulness, manifestation, and make things happen. And then to clarify, we have aggressive with the number 42, hot-tempered and strong, and the message, an aggressive energy may arise. Try and understand its origin and accept it without feeling into it. So I'm getting a very similar vibe from these two cards to that of the King of Coins and the Intoxicated card. Because I was about to say that this King of Coins could be a spouse or a significant other, but then I remembered that we were in the portion of the reading where it's about your platonic relationships, and we were gonna talk about your romantic love life later on. But then seeing these two cards, yeah, it could be, you know, this King of Coins could be a spouse, a partner, a significant other who could be pushing your buttons in the month of June. Because the Magician, it did fall upright, but the Magician, when it's not grounded, when it's imbalanced, it can be a bit of a manipulator, very calculating. And that's kind of how I describe this King of Coins. So I did mention at the beginning that you could be feeling trapped in a situation that you're not really trapped in. So for some who are in a committed relationship, or you are seeing someone and this person tends to be hot-tempered, or they're hot and cold, or they do show signs of being manipulative, like you're starting to see a lot of red flags when it comes to this person, or you have been seeing a lot of red flags, please don't ignore these red flags. Remember, you don't have to stay in any situation, environment, connection, or relationship that is detrimental to you in any way, be it emotional, physical, mental. And like I said, you do have support. Know that you can reach out to loved ones for support, and it will be given to you. It will be given to you. Yeah, because the Magician speaks about being the creator of your reality. It talks about being assertive. You don't have to be stuck in a situation that isn't working out for you. Because the other thing I was going to say with this King of Coins and the Intoxicated card is that there could be someone in your family who, for some, this could be your significant other, who gets quite intoxicated often, like substance abuse. Yeah, and I was gonna give off this heads up or this warning to not engage with this person when they are intoxicated. Yeah, because I'm getting something like drinking, and it's like, it's best and it's advised for you not to drink with this person or to not be around them when they are drinking, whoever this King of Coins is. And I feel like maybe that's also an advice for you, not to engage with any substances. Because, yeah, with intoxicated and with aggressive, it's like you might lose control, or you might do things that are not in alignment with you, or do things that you might later regret when you are more clear-headed and are grounded. So, yeah, I normally never get messages such as this, so this is quite new. But there is something about not drinking in the month of June, or not engaging with someone who does drink, or something about not engaging with any substances in the month of June. Look after yourselves, you guys. Take care of yourselves. It's okay for us to want to be looked after. Like, it's perfectly fine, but we must remember that we can't always expect for someone to look out for us or look after us. We need to look out for ourselves first. Yeah, because the Eight of Swords is giving me that vibe of like waiting for a savior. Like, we are our own savior. We can be supported, and we will most definitely get support along the way, but we are our savior first and foremost. We are our knight in shining armor. So it's important not to put ourselves in dangerous situations, to not engage with dangerous situations or people who are not trustworthy, or who have shown a lot of red flags already. It's important to look out for ourselves. And that's kind of the message I'm getting for the month of June when it comes to relationships and connections. Yeah, so for those of you who are in a romantic committed relationship, because the Magician can be quite controlling. So, like, if it's not working out with someone, the best course of action is not to try and make that person change in order for things to work out between you both. The best course of action could be, and this is just advice, remember, this is a general reading, so you know your situation better than I do, but the best course of action would be stepping back from the situation, maybe creating some distance between you and the other person. And sometimes distance can help. We kind of spoke about that with the polar bear, how creating distance can help you gain a new perspective of the situation, see things more clearly, like find a solution maybe. Or distance can help all parties in a situation have their own space in order to start processing and healing. Yeah, and I do get I'm getting a lot of messages of healing, and I'm noticing that we have a lot of energy of 4 in this spread. In 48, we have 4. In this card, 42, we have 4. If we reduce the number 58, we get 13. If we reduce that number, we get 4. And 4 is all about healing. So maybe healing is needed in a relationship. Like healing separately. You healing yourself and the other party healing themselves. Yeah, because all I'm seeing with aggressive is like frustration. Like the more you try to control the situation, the connection, or the other, the more complicated things get. There's just more frustration. It's like adding more fuel to the fire. So I think distance is needed. And I'm getting this message like, it's not up to you. It's not up to you to make the relationship work. A relationship is between all the parties involved. It's a team effort. It's a partnership. It's not just up to one person. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. And again, this could be a situation in which Spirit is just telling you, hey, if you feel like this situation you are in, relationship, connection, environment is unsafe, if you don't feel safe in it any longer, you can step away. You can step away. Please look out for yourself, you guys. Please reach out. If it's not to someone that someone that can provide a very specific support that you need, don't keep quiet, don't keep silent, because it's not going to better the situation. That was a message for those of you who are in a relationship, are seeing someone, and so forth. But for those of you who are single, I do see that you have been trying to manifest romantic love into your life, and this aggressive energy, I'm taking it as frustration. I feel like you have been trying to manifest a romantic partner into your life for quite some time, but you haven't seen your manifestation come into fruition, or you're not seeing much progress in your romantic love life. I do see you feeling quite frustrated, maybe a little bit upset and angry at the universe or circumstance in the month of June when it comes to your love life. But because we do have the Magician card here, this is reassurance from Spirit that you are manifesting and attracting love into your life. You are manifesting a romantic partner into your life. I am being reminded of the movie Practical Magic of Sally. You know, she kind of manifested her ideal partner when she was just a little girl, and she didn't even really know that she was manifesting her partner. You know, she thought she was doing the complete opposite, you know, shielding herself from ever falling in love. And she actually did fall in love with someone else before meeting her ideal partner, the person she ended up manifesting. So I get this feeling that you have already manifested your ideal partner when you weren't even trying to manifest them. I feel, okay, this is only if you resonate with this, you know, so use your discernment, because I feel like a lot of you guys are literally doing rituals, affirmations, spells in order to attract romantic love into your life, or maybe to make it work with someone in specific, like attract a specific person. But I feel like instead of this helping you out, it's just creating a lot of resistance, and it's just creating a negative experience for you. Because if you're just feeling frustrated all the time or angry about the situation, then you're not creating anything pleasant in your reality. You're just creating more of this like aggression here, more of this chaotic energy. Spirit is saying you don't have to do all these rituals, all these spells, all these affirmations, all this visualization. You don't have to be constantly on this or thinking about this in order to get your desired outcome. You can let go. Especially if this is only just creating a lot of tension and frustration and even resentment. How much space are you allowing when you're holding on to all this aggression, you know, all this chaotic energy? How much space are you holding for love? You know, so start cleaning house by letting go of the need to control the situation. The Magician is letting us know that you have already done everything that you possibly can when it comes to this situation. That's why all that you're experiencing right now is frustration, because there's nothing more than that you can do. It's like, so now all you need to do, the only thing that you need to do that maybe, this is a maybe, I'm not saying this is your case, that you are not doing is just being receptive, being open. And we did get that message of welcoming home someone. So it's like, just make space for your partner. I once heard about this, like, if you are trying to manifest a significant other, then make it as this person is already there, because they are already part of your reality at some point in your timeline. So simply make space for them. If frustration, aggression, irritability is not something you want to experience on the day-to-day in your romantic love life, then let go of that. What do you want to experience in your romantic love life? Joy? Be more in that energy. Don't force yourself to be in it. I mean, it's okay to feel frustrated every now and then, but don't live in that energy either. You know, what kind of energy do you want to live in? Joy. Like commitment, loyalty. Be committed to yourself, to your healing, to your growth. Be loyal to yourself by keeping all the promises that you make to yourself, and only making promises to yourself that you intend to keep. That kind of vibe. That's just advice here. That's an example. If it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, then you could just let it be. But yeah, I feel like the more you try to control the situation, the more that you try to manipulate the details of it, like the when it should happen, with who, how, the more resistance you are going to experience. The more you will feel like you're hitting dead ends or you're hitting a wall. Especially for those of you who are trying to manifest a specific person. I don't know how it works. I know a lot of people believe in that you can manifest a connection or relationship with a specific person, but I guess this is my personal belief. We can manifest a specific person, but the way we manifest it is we can manifest an encounter with a specific person. We can manifest an opportunity to communicate, to connect with a specific person. But what happens after, it all depends. It's on you and the other person. So whether a relationship is built or not, it's not a result of a manifestation, but rather like if the energies match. it depends on the free will of all parties involved. It's not through a spell or through manifesting it. Or maybe this is an advice that you might not want that. Like you might not want a connection to be built on something that ignored free will. Maybe you want something more genuine, more authentic. If so, then like be open. Set your intention for what it is that you want. You want to experience romantic love, genuine, unconditional romantic love, and be open to that. It might come through in the person that you're specifically interested in, or it might come through in another person, but be open to it. Yeah, so for those of you who are single, trying to manifest a significant other, what I'm seeing based on the cards, on the current energy, because energy is always changing, is that you might not be meeting your person in the month of June, but just because you won't be meeting them in this month doesn't mean that it won't happen. Because again, we do have the Magician here. So this lets me know that the pot of creation is brewing. It is brewing. So this could simply be, I know people often get frustrated hearing this, but this could simply have something to do with divine timing. And divine timing is not so much about like when you're ready, but it's more like a set time. Like maybe it's just a little bit further in your journey because that will be the perfect time. It's more about the perfect timing. And I noticed this myself with other areas of my life. Like sometimes I'm like, why doesn't it happen now? If I want it now, why doesn't it happen? And then time passes and it happens later on and I realize, oh, you know what? It's good that it happened later on and not when I thought it should happen, because if it had happened then, things might have gotten messy. Like I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much because I would have been consumed by these other things, or my judgment would have been clouded by all these other things I was dealing with. So, yeah, there is a reason why it had to happen a little bit later, and I'm thankful that it did. So this could be one of those situations. Like universe does have your back. Like they're listening to you. They understand your frustration. They get it. They know. And they're not telling you to chill because they're being insensitive. It's more like we know how painful it is to be in this energy of frustration. We know how unpleasant, and we don't want this to be an unpleasant experience for you. We don't want for you to be hoping for love, feeling all of these unpleasant emotions. We want for you to enjoy the process so that when love comes in, it's not like, oh, finally you're here. Like, oh, finally this is happening, but more like, yay, welcome home, like welcoming somebody home. We want for it to be more of a welcoming rather than you took long enough kind of vibe, So I guess this is also reassurance that this will happen. It will happen. It is already in the making. The Magician is associated with the zodiac sign Aries. So Aries season could be of significance, or the person that you are manifesting or attracting could be an Aries sun, moon, or rising. And I know Aries season already passed. So maybe Aries season of next year could be of significance. But when it comes to timing, I'm always a bit hesitant to give like specific dates or time frames, because I know that things, when it comes to time, universe is so tricky about it. They can give you an estimate, but it's just an estimate because energy is always like shifting and changing. And then the Magician talks about like, the Magician is an energy of like, you can kind of manipulate, energy. So things can go faster. Things can happen a lot faster than expected when the Magician shows up. So it doesn't have to be next year. And I'm not saying that to like appease you guys or anything. Like literally having the Magician here, it's things can happen sooner than expected. Yeah, so these are all the messages I'm getting from these specific cards. So now I want to pull out extra oracle cards. Where are they? To get any last messages, advice, and or guidance from Spirit. Okay. That card was about to fall out, but it was like, nah. Maybe later. Okay, so 2 cards fell out together, and we have procrastination simply means you are not energetically ready. Don't push. You will get what you need done when you are ready, and it will be effortless. Yep. Yeah, so if you're feeling resistance, in a specific area of your life, don't force, don't push. Resistance could be a sign from the universe, an indicator that you need to step back. That stepping back is the best course of action, because by pushing, all you're creating is more resistance. I know sometimes it's very difficult to step back because it feels like all our work and effort is going to go to waste. But universe is saying no, because once you put in the work, that is there. Like, especially when it comes to manifesting, like once it's out there, it's out there. Universe has received it, especially if it's in alignment with you. So nothing will go to waste. When it comes to energy, nothing goes to waste. Energy isn't wasted. And we also have, there is no worthiness to prove. No, you are perfect as you are, and life is supposed to be fun. And this is reminding me of the magician, because the magician often has an infinity symbol at the top of its head, and then with the hand. Yeah, remember, there's no worthiness to prove. You are inherently worthy. You are infinite potential. You are infinite. Don't wait for someone else to tell you that for you to believe it. Believe it, because you are. So I'm just going to pull out one more card to wrap up this reading. Oh, okay. And we have, you already, I knew this card was going to fall out for you guys. I knew it. I was kind of expecting it. I feel like that's a message in itself for you. Like, you're expecting to find true love. You're expecting to find your forever person or your person. And you expecting this is a sign that it will come. It will happen for you. It will manifest. But we have, you already created what you want. It's waiting for you. Focus until you feel better, lighter, and then you believe, and then you know. Yeah, it's often said that the more we focus on what isn't here, the more frustrated we become. But if we instead focus on the fact that we already created what we desired, that it's only in a matter of time that we come into alignment with it, then we are more open to receiving and are coming into alignment with what it is that we desire. And oftentimes, like, focusing on the lack doesn't allow for us to connect with our intuition, because all we're like focusing on is what the mind is telling us. Like, it isn't here, it isn't here, it isn't here. Like, look around you. Is it here? No. So it isn't here, it isn't here, it isn't going to happen. And that doesn't allow for you to connect to your inner knowing, to your inner feeling, which often reveals the truth to us, because we can sense energy. You know, we're energetic beings. So if we tune in with ourselves, tune in with the energy, we can sense when something is approaching. We can sense when we are connected to something or someone. We can sense what is in alignment with us. We can sense what is true and what isn't for us. So focus on your inner being. Focus on your inner guidance until you connect with this knowing of what is unfolding. And then you believe, and then you know. And you're being advised this because universe already knows that you have manifested what it is that you want. You have already created it. It's only a matter of time before you come into alignment with it. So they know that if you tune into yourself, into your intuition, you will feel better, because your intuition will tell you exactly this. Like, they're not lying to you. They're not trying to deceive you just to make you feel better. They know that you already created what you want. And it's waiting for you. It's just waiting for you a little further along your journey. But, you know, waiting doesn't mean putting everything on hold until you get what you desire. Like, I don't feel universe ever advises that. I feel like universe is all like, in the knowing that this will happen no matter what, live your life. Live your life. Focus on other things. Focus on other areas of your life. Focus on you. Improve your relationship with yourself. And not because it's going to help you get closer and closer to your person or to romantic love or union or whatnot, but rather because having a good relationship with yourself feels good. Just feels good. It's a good experience. I mean, you're stuck with yourself 24/7, so why wouldn't you want a good relationship with yourself to enjoy every day, every moment? Yeah, and I feel like overall there is a message for the month of June to focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Don't try to focus on healing someone else, on fixing someone else's issues or problems, because I don't feel like this month is about that. And I don't feel like it's your responsibility to do so. Yeah, Spirit is saying focus on you. That's where you're going to see the most growth, progress, and betterment in your life overall, by focusing on you, creating a better relationship with yourself, and so forth. Okay, but these are all the messages I am seeing for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the info is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Yeah, but I'm wishing you a wonderful month of June, and until next moment, bye bye. Hello you guys who chose the lion, bienvenidos to your reading. So before we get started, I would like to quickly go over a list of everything that is going to be covered in this reading. So there will be 3 parts. In part 1, I will be sharing with you what I intuitively picked up on when connecting with the energy of your group. In part 2, I will work with both tarot and oracle cards to find out what it is that you can expect in the month of June when it comes to 3 different relationship dynamics. Your relationship with self, your platonic relationships, and lastly, what it is that you can expect in the month of June when it comes to your romantic love life. And for part 3, I will be pulling out extra oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance from Spirit for the month of June. Okay, but now let us get started. So, actually, when tapping into this group's energy, not a lot of messages came to mind. Usually I get specific words or phrases, short sentences, but I didn't get any of that with this group, which is quite interesting because messages did come through, but they came through in a different form. Yeah, like instead of receiving specific messages, it was more like a knowing, like a feeling. So maybe this is describing how you guys channel or how you guys connect to Spirit or your intuition or how it is that you sense energy. Like you guys might not hear or receive specific messages in your mind, but you do get information through this knowing. So you might be claircognizant or clairsentience. Like if something isn't right, you feel it in your body. You have that sixth sense, or you see someone and you just know stuff about them. Even if that person hasn't spoken to you or hasn't revealed anything to you, you might know what they're all about, or you might know what their intentions are. Like you just have this knowing about things. I also feel like your intuition comes through in the form of gut feelings. Like you might have very strong gut feelings about things. So your solar plexus chakra might be very strong. It might be one of your strongest energy centers. And it's interesting because the solar plexus is the energy center that deals with our confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, with our identity. And the lion is often associated with confidence, with willpower, assertiveness, being comfortable in your own skin, feeling sure of who it is that you are. So there's a strong Leo energy coming through here. You could be a Leo sun, moon, or rising, or have your Mars, Mercury, or Venus in Leo, or just have a Leo predominant in your chart or fire predominant in your chart. But if not, that is perfectly fine. I feel like this is indicating that this is the energy you will be embodying in the month of June. So Leo is all about being seen. Leo is about standing in your power. Leo, the lion, is about speaking up, speaking your truth, and speaking loud and clear. So I'm also seeing that your throat chakra, and I'm noticing this color blue here in the background, and the color blue is associated with the throat chakra, is going to be working hard, or is going to be very active in the month of June. You could be unconsciously or consciously working through healing your throat chakra, opening it up, activating it. Yeah, so for example, in the month of June, you could be feeling the urge, the need to sing out loud or read out loud. You could find yourself being more communicative than usual, like wanting to express yourself. But there's something about volume, like speaking a little bit louder than usual. You might even feel this urge to scream or to yell, hit those high notes in those songs that you usually shy away from. And that's kind of your throat chakra urging you to make use of it, to work with it, to remember that you do have a voice, a beautiful voice. And the throat chakra is simply about communication and self-expression. So it's not just about using, your physical voice, but it's simply about you expressing yourself in some way, like sharing your opinions, sharing your thoughts, sharing your feelings. Leo also makes me think of performance and creativity. So you could be finding creative outlets this month. Yeah, but I keep feeling like this urge, this need, like wanting to push outside of the bounds, like push out of your comfort zone. I get this feeling of someone has been held back, someone has been sitting in this very confined space and they're kind of tired of it. They're tired. They want to stretch out. They want more room to grow, more room to experience themselves, to express themselves, to shine their light. Yeah, because I feel like you guys have a very strong energy. You have a very strong, bright, expansive aura, but instead of just letting it be, you have retained it. I'm getting this vibe of feeling like you're too much, or having been told once that you were too much, and that kind of led to you holding yourself back. Yeah, because, now I recall, there was a word that came to mind actually. And this was the only word that came to mind, which was misunderstood. So you could feel misunderstood, or it could be that in the past you have been misunderstood. And so that could have led to you holding back on speaking up, doing or saying something for the fear of being misunderstood. Yeah, so what I see happening in the month of June is you taking a different approach. Instead of having this mentality, I'm just not going to share what I truly think because people always misunderstand me, so it's best to keep quiet. Instead of having that mentality, you are transitioning into a mentality of, okay, maybe it's not about never speaking up, but it's more about how I communicate my truth. Maybe it's more about how I communicate rather than what I think and what I feel. So I see you exercising your voice, practicing your communication in the month of June. Yeah, and slowly releasing this fear of being misunderstood. Because, even if we are great communicators, there will always be room for interpretation. And so there could always be some misunderstanding or maybe miscommunication. People are bound to assume things or interpret things in their own way based on their life experience, based on their own perception and so forth. So if we hyper focus on being understood or being liked or being accepted, we can end up holding back a lot. Because then we can start filtering so much that what remains is a watered down version of ourselves. So it's great to improve on our communication skills because there is always room for improvement, but it's also important not to get to this point where we are altering ourselves, our beliefs, our forms of expression in order to fit in, be accepted, be liked, be understood, and so forth. Yeah, because again, Leo, the lion, the solar plexus is all about standing in your power, being true to you. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm seeing for you guys, and I feel like this will be super crucial and important when it comes to your relationships, because I feel like this month is about expressing yourself in your relationships without fearing being misunderstood or being judged or like getting negative feedback. And it's also a month about learning how to communicate with your loved ones. Yeah, because I will be honest, the lion is known for its roar, right? And that to me feels very direct, very blunt, could be very in your face, very powerful. So I feel like you guys value honesty. You could be very blunt, and that's nothing negative, but I feel like there is sometimes this confusion between speaking honestly and, being mean. Some people use honesty as an excuse to be mean. Yeah, but it's important to know that we can be honest without being disrespectful. Like, we don't have to be harsh in order to speak honestly. Yeah, I feel like there's a fine line, because I know that harsh truths, they hurt, whether you intended for it to come through that way or not, but then there's like intentionally being mean with the excuse of being honest. I feel like there's a fine line. Yeah, so maybe this month is about recognizing that difference, knowing how to discern between the both. And it could also be about setting boundaries, establishing your boundaries with people who might communicate in this way, who might excuse their meanness, harshness, or disrespect with honesty. because the lion is also making me think of boundaries. And I was going to say, when I was tapping into this group's energy, I felt very anxious and nervous, and I felt very open, like my energy was open and exposed, like I was very vulnerable to anything that was out there. So like I said, you have a very expansive aura, so you could often feel exposed. Maybe that's why also you often feel the need to bring your energy in. You might do this consciously or like subconsciously, like as a way to protect yourself, to protect your energy from others. Because the other thing I'm getting for you guys is that you are very sensitive to energy, sensitive to the feelings and emotions of others, sensitive to other people's intentions. Yeah, and so kind of to keep you from absorbing outside energy, you pull your energy field in, like into yourself, to guard it, to protect it, to protect yourself. And this could even manifest in your body language. Like you might often find yourself feeling pretty tense, rigid, like you might not want to take a lot of space, so you often cross your legs if you're sitting down, or you cross your arms over your chest, or you keep your arms to your side. You might hunch over, like keep your shoulders up or keep your shoulders forward, like you keep your body closed up. Or you don't like to be in crowded places, you don't like to be around so many people, and that's you pulling your energy in. That's your way of keeping you from taking in other people's energy, because I do feel like it affects you. So I feel like for you guys, it's very important to practice energy protection. Like literally visualize a shield of protection around you. This part of the reading is taking a bit longer than expected, but I was going to say, I feel you guys are visual people. You're very, very creative, very imaginative. Like I feel visualizing comes easy to you, seeing like images in your mind's eye. So something that might help is visualizing your aura, your energy field, visualizing how far it stretches, what color it is, what texture even. And once you have done that, visualize a shield of protection around your auric field or your energy field. And do this before starting your day. And also when you are about to go to bed or go into the dream state. Because I feel like you're also very susceptible to external energy when you are asleep. Because that's kind of like when your defenses are down. So setting an intention to protect yourself energetically before going to sleep might also help you guys. Especially if you experience like sleep paralysis or nightmares, restless sleep, or maybe you wake up the next day not feeling well rested. So I feel like protecting your energy is super important. Setting intentions for that, maybe even doing some like rituals or practices, or if you're into crystals, looking into crystals that aid to protect, like obsidian, for example. Yeah, but I feel like knowing how to protect your energy and knowing how to have and implement your boundaries will be super important, and not only for the month of June, but just in general for you guys. Yeah, I feel like what you are learning is that in order to protect yourself or keep yourself safe, you don't have to dim your light, or you don't have to silence yourself. You could shine bright and express yourself and still be protected. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing for you guys. The last thing, there were 3 different names of countries that came up, which were Italy, Mexico, and Jamaica. Maybe those are important places for some of you guys. Could have been where you were born, where you currently live or reside, or are wanting to relocate to, or you could have roots there. But now I'm going to reveal the message that is on the back of this card. So we have Lion with leadership, and the message: Lion embodies qualities of leadership, courage, assertiveness, and personal strength. His bravery serves as an example of the fortitude needed to navigate deeply emotional and personal struggles. Often a driving catalyst for change, Lion empowers us to lead. With quiet presence, he bolsters his pride. Wise and noble, he owns his weaknesses, reminding us of our interconnectedness. He encourages us to use our power in service to others rather than in domination. Yeah, you guys are leaders. You are definite leaders. It's time for you to acknowledge and realize it, and to shine your light, to shine as bright as you are meant to shine. No more dimming your light. Yeah, and there's something about volume, the volume of your voice. I feel like you guys have a very powerful very loud voice. Yeah, and it has nothing to do with yelling or screaming. It's like you command attention without demanding it. Like your voice just has this like resonance. It's like this boom effect. I'm not describing it well, but I get the feeling that over time you have become very soft-spoken. And again, it could be because someone told you that you were too loud, or they could have judged your voice. Yeah, it's the kind of this feeling of like, you're too bright, like dim your light. And so you did in order to appease others, to make others comfortable. And it's like in the month of June, you're putting that into question, like, why do I do that? Why should I do that? Why do I need to restrain myself in order to keep others comfortable? If they can't handle my light, then maybe it's a them problem and not a me problem. Because I'm sure there's people out there who can see me and have no problem with how brightly I shine. They will have no problem with the volume of my voice. They will have no problem with my commanding presence because there is nothing wrong with who I am. There's nothing wrong with who I am. Yeah, so it could also be that this month you are opening yourself to meeting people who align with you, meeting people who see you for who you are and embrace you. Like, these are people who can stand in the light that you shine without any problem. And these are people who shine as bright as you do. But we're going to take a look at your relationship with yourself this month. And it's so interesting how I got all these messages without pulling out the cards. Like I said, I feel like you guys don't need the assistance of like divination tools. You don't need like tangible physical things to connect, to receive messages, to tap into your intuition. You guys are already very connected. Maybe it's more about learning how to focus your energy, how to directly connect, because I feel like oftentimes you get bombarded with messages from spirit, like or from the energy that is around you. Because you are such an open channel. I feel like you guys have a very open and active crown chakra. So it's more about like focusing, directing, like who it is that I want to channel, being very intentional. Yeah, so you guys could have a very active mind. Like there's often a lot of chatter going on in your mind, and it could be like all that chatter are different messages coming from different energies. Like you picking up on other people's thoughts, or you picking up on the energy of a room, or you channeling specific light beings or spirit. So there's a lot going on, and that's why I feel like there were a lot of messages of protecting your energy, like also cleansing your space, cleansing your energy field. And like I said, being very intentional as to who it is that you want to connect with, who it is that you want to receive messages from, what it is that you want to know. Be very intentional, and also set intentions to like close your channel whenever you don't want to be bombarded by messages from spirit or just information about your external environment or information about people you're connecting with. Yeah, I feel like you guys are very powerful channelers. But we have, look. We have communication with new means of communication is necessary. Whether online communication, phone, in person, or through letters or gifts, something needs to be communicated, but in a way you aren't used to. You might also receive a message unexpected and unusual. Appreciate the little gestures. They can make the most impact. Yeah, and then we have messages and gifts with the number 63. Yeah, so this whole time I've been speaking about communication, expressing yourself, and how you guys are amazing channelers. Yeah, so you could be working to improve your communication skills, or like I said, you're just being more observant about how you communicate your ideas, your thoughts, your feelings, your intentions, and whether there is anything that needs to be improved when it comes to your communication skills. And I also see you contemplating on what is the best way to communicate something in specific. Yeah, look, we have the Two of Swords with at a crossroads, avoiding the truth and tough choices. So the Two of Swords speaks about this back and forth energy. It's like feeling indecisive, feeling like you don't have enough information or clarity to make a confident decision. So I feel like this is the energy you often face. Like you want to say something, but you're not sure whether to say it or not. You're not sure if it's going to hurt someone's feelings. You're not sure how it's going to be taken, if you're going to be misunderstood, if it's going to be misinterpreted. Or you might go back and forth on whether what you are about to say is important, if it is of value, whether it will create a positive impact, whether it will lead to something negative. It's like there's a lot of overthinking when it comes to communication. And I feel like that has affected the way you communicate because, like I said, I feel like a lot of you guys have held yourself back a lot when it comes to self-expression, when it comes to expressing your opinions, when it comes to speaking honestly. And I do feel this can be quite a struggle because this is all coming from a space of not just fearing being misunderstood, but also being mindful of others. Like, you don't want to say something that might hurt someone's feelings or might cause someone to doubt themselves. Like, you're not only thinking about you, but you're also thinking about others. And so there's a genuine concern for others as well. Yeah, and this fear of whether you might hurt or offend someone else could have been a result of you delivering a lot of harsh truths. Yeah, because there was that message at the beginning of we can be respectful while still being honest. And I feel like I don't feel like you guys are someone who will intentionally say something to hurt another with the excuse of being honest or something like that. On the contrary, you guys are very mindful. Like I said, you guys have a genuine concern for others. And so what I see happening here is that you are someone who delivers harsh truths. And harsh truths are a hard pill to swallow. And oftentimes people might have trouble with that, because what you say might open their eyes to something that they don't want to see, something they don't want to acknowledge. And it's like exposing someone to a bright light after that person has been in the darkness for so long. That could be offensive to their eyes. And so what I'm seeing here is that your harsh truths could have been taken as an offense. And it's not because you were disrespectful or you intended to hurt someone. It's just that it was a harsh reality check. Yeah, so I feel like those are the kind of situations that you often experienced in the past, which then led to you kind of walking on eggshells around certain people or just in general. Yeah, so with tough choices, I feel like you're often in this like crossroad of, do I speak the truth or do I keep quiet or do I sugarcoat this? Like, how do I go about this? What do I do? What do I say? But I feel like this month, you are starting to come out of your shell again. Like, you're starting to test waters is what I'm getting. Because, the other thing could be that in the past, you could have expressed your opinions. And this might sound a bit harsh, you guys, but this is the way that it's coming through. Like, in the past, you could have expressed your opinions openly. It's kind of like giving unwanted advice. And though your advice could have been very eye-opening and very helpful, like, people might not have taken it that way. And it's because they weren't ready to hear it. If they weren't asking for it, it's most likely because they weren't ready to hear it or wanting to hear it. Yeah, so what I'm seeing with like testing the waters is, trying a different approach is what I'm getting. Trying a different approach with your communication. So, for example, if someone shares something with you, instead of just giving advice or giving your input, you ask, do you want my honest advice? Do you want my honest opinion about this? And if the person says yes, then you give it. If the person says no, then that's when you respect a boundary. That's like, okay, so that's a boundary. I see it, I discern it, and I choose to respect it. Like, that's the kind of vibe I'm seeing, like a different approach to how it is that you express yourself, to how it is that you communicate. Because like I said, this month is also about practicing boundaries, but not only like practicing how to implement your own boundaries and respect them, but also practicing how to respect the boundaries of others. If someone is not open to hearing the honest truth, then it's respecting that. We don't need to force a truth onto someone else. We don't need to force an opinion. If someone is not wanting to talk, then it's respecting that. Yeah, because we do have this message of avoiding the truth. It's not your responsibility to get other people to see. It's not, because at the end, they will see when they're ready, when it's time for them to see. Yeah, so when it comes to your relationship with self, I see you working to improve your communication skills, learning how it is that you communicate with others. It's like, instead of being self-conscious about the way you express yourself or the way that you communicate, you're becoming aware. We're transitioning from self-consciousness into self-awareness. Like there's less judgment now. We're just learning, we're observing. It's like you're getting this higher perspective of yourself and the way you express yourself, the way that you communicate, the way that others communicate with you. Because the other thing I'm getting with the Lion and communication, the Two of Swords, is that you can often tend to lean towards assumption. Like I said, you guys are very intuitive. So you do sense other people's intentions. I do feel like you have that ability. Let's say it's very strong in you, but how you interpret it, that's when there might be assumptions, because you might sense that someone is a bit nervous, or you might sense that someone isn't telling the whole truth. But how you might interpret that is, oh, this person is being deceptive, or this person is lying. When in reality, it could be that someone is dealing with something. Someone is struggling to share something with you because it is very personal to them, because they are still going back and forth on whether this is an appropriate topic to talk about with you or something like that. So I feel like it's more about how you interpret what you intuitively sense, what you pick up on, rather than you being wrong. Because you're right, that person wasn't saying the entire truth, but you might have misinterpreted the reason why, or you might have assumed, jump into conclusions as to why they were omitting certain details. Yeah, I also get this feeling of like, instead of jumping into conclusions, it's, taking, like stepping back and away from a situation, seeing the situation from an unbiased viewpoint. And with the Lion representing courage, I feel like this is also speaking about you not shying away or holding back from asking for more clarity if you feel more clarity is needed. Like if someone says something and you're not so sure as to what they intended with that, like instead of assuming or you trying to figure it out later on, you ask them straight up, like, what do you mean by that? Or what were you intending with that? Or is this what you meant by that? If not, then can you clarify? Because this is how I interpret it, but I'm not sure. Things like that, like opening the line of communication. That's the other thing I'm seeing here. It's like being receptive to open communication, like exploring open communication. I'm noticing that these two phones are like facing each other. So what I'm getting from that is like self-talk. Like you could be talking to yourself a lot more in the month of June, especially when you're about to make a decision, like kind of like weighing the pros and cons with yourself. This could also be like referring to you taking your own input about a situation. Instead of going to someone else to ask them for their opinion, you take a time to go within and ask yourself, how do you feel about this situation? What do you think about this situation? Like taking into consideration your own input, your own opinion, your own feelings about something, and prioritizing that above all else, like above everyone else's perspective, opinions about the situation. Yeah, because there could be a lack of self-trust, like not trusting that you know what is the best course of action, not trusting that you know what is the right thing to do. And I feel like this month you are practicing more of that self-trust, like making a decision without running it by others, having an opinion without first listening to what everyone else thinks, or not changing your opinion after you heard someone think differently from you. It's like staying true to you, sticking to what you believe in because you believe in it. I'm also seeing that the way you talk to yourself will be changing this month. If you used to self-deprecate a lot, or you talked negatively to yourself, what I'm seeing happening this month, you are engaging in less and less negative self-talk. With the Two of Swords here, I still see like this inner struggle. Like there might be some moments in which you fall back into this negative self-thinking or negative self-talk tendencies, but then I see you getting out of it. Because we can acknowledge when we did something that we are not very proud of or we want to improve, but we don't, like I said, we don't have to be mean. We don't have to be disrespectful. We can be honest with ourselves without being disrespectful. So that's what I see also kind of changing and improving this month, how you communicate to yourself. And the other thing I'm getting with the Two of Swords is discernment. You are also learning to discern what is of you and what isn't. Like what are intrusive thoughts and what's your inner voice? What is fears and insecurities and what's your logic? what is messages incoming from spirit and what is your own intuition or your own thoughts. Yeah, because like I said, some of you could have this tendency of jumping into conclusions. So if you get an intrusive thought that is quite negative, like that tells you something is going to go wrong because things always go wrong for you, you might literally jump into an assumption that something is going to go wrong. And that might ultimately result in you self-sabotaging in some way, because when we think something is going to go wrong, we literally start actively looking for confirmation that something is going to go wrong. And we are powerful creators, right? So if we set our minds to finding proof, we will ultimately find it, or we might even create it ourselves. And that's where we start experiencing self-sabotage. So yeah, it's about, again, taking a step back. Like you get a thought and you don't immediately jump into conclusions. You're like, okay, that seems out of the blue. That seems a little like my negative thinking patterns. That seems like an intrusive thought. I'm just gonna not engage with that right now. I'm not going to feed into that. I'm not going to enable that. I'm just gonna put that to the side because it's not serving me right now. It's not giving me a heads up about anything. It's just trying to distract me from what I can focus on right now, what is in my power right now. So it's that kind of vibe. And I did speak about you trusting in yourself more and more, making a decision without needing to run it by others. But the other thing I'm getting here, it's like the other side of the coin, because the lion represents strong leadership. So sometimes this could indicate a strong sense of independence, like being hyper independent, for example. So it could be that some of you guys struggle with asking for advice or asking for support or asking for counsel. And I feel like this month you are kind of like pushing out of your comfort zone, getting out of your comfort zone and asking others for advice. But again, it's like you know what you want, you know what you're thinking, you know how you feel about a situation, but you are just asking for a second opinion. And advice is that advice. It's something simply to be listened to be taken into consideration, but it's not an end-all be-all. It's like kings. Kings had their counsel, but at the end of the day, kings had to formulate an opinion based on everything that they learned, everything that they heard. They had to come up with a decision on their own, something that was of them. So that's what these two cards are speaking about. Like, yes, get informed, get a second opinion if you need it, from an expert, from a friend, someone that you trust, that is reliable. But then at the end, when it comes to what decision you make sure that it's from you, that you will feel okay with being accountable for. Like, I'm not sure whether this is right or wrong. I'm not sure what outcome I'm going to get out of this decision or choice I'm making, but whatever the outcome may be, whatever the results may be, I can take accountability for it because it is a decision that is coming from me. Like that kind of thing. Yeah, so I do want to say that this month you will be going more within, introspecting, asking yourself first and foremost what you think, what you feel, what you believe is the best course of action before asking anyone else, but also being open to asking for the advice and opinions of others. In the month of June, there could be something in specific that you are debating, going back and forth on whether you should communicate it or not, speak it. Like you could be contemplating on whether you should send a text message or not, or text someone, or reach out to someone, or make that call, or reply to a message, or just simply say something. The Two of Swords doesn't indicate a decision. It just indicates that you are wondering what decision to make. So I feel like the advice here is, if you don't feel like reaching out to this person or replying, then don't feel like you need to. Because if you aren't ready to talk, let's say, for example, then you aren't ready, and that's totally fine. And if you feel like you need to communicate something, like you can't move on unless you speak honestly or communicate this, then like ask yourself why that is. Is it because of pride? Your ego? Because I'm getting this example of like someone dying to tell someone else, like, I told you so, I was right. Like, what's the true intention behind this? And maybe in knowing what the true intention is, that will help give you more clarity about what to do, what decision to make, what action to take, and so forth. Yeah, I also feel like you could be receiving communication from someone unexpected, someone you didn't expect to hear from or hear back from, or someone could be reaching out to you with some news or information that you weren't expecting, and you might not know what to do with it. Like, what do I do with this kind of information? Yeah, but now I'm going to move into your platonic relationships because I feel I spent a good while with this one. So when it comes to your platonic relationships, okay, so we have, vulnerable, open with something may leave you feeling vulnerable, as if all is exposed. Whatever you do, continue to fall into vulnerability. You need this learning experience to further your growth. Yeah, and I did mention open communication with this communication card. So I do feel like this month is about being okay or being receptive to open communication in your relationships. Being honest, being transparent, being vulnerable. And we have justice, upright with cause and effect, truth, and get what is deserved. There's the word truth showed up twice in your spread. So there's a lot about speaking honestly, speaking your truth, communicating honestly. So justice is associated with the zodiac sign Libra. So you could be speaking honestly or being vulnerable with someone who is a Libra sun, moon, or rising, or who just demonstrates a lot of Libra qualities. You know, this is someone who is loyal, someone who is fair, someone who seeks balance. This is also someone with a lot of integrity. Yeah, so they aren't going to say something just to be nice, just to stroke your ego. This is someone who is going to speak honestly and speak from the heart as well. Yeah, the vibe from the Justice card and vulnerable, it's literally that message I was giving at the beginning. Like, this is someone who speaks honestly without being disrespectful. Like, their intention isn't to hurt. Their intention isn't to put anyone down, because justice is all about respect, respecting others, respecting oneself. So yeah, when it comes to your platonic relationships, I see a lot of open communication. There's no shying away from the truth. This is about being sincere with your loved ones, feeling safe and secure in your relationships to speak harsh truths. You know, because justice can also be very direct. Justice can be clear cut. It says how it sees it. I'm thinking about like justice, the legal system. You focus on the proof, on what is tangible and what is right there in front of you. So this is about letting go of illusion, seeing situations for how they are and what they are. So I feel like in the month of June, you're realizing that you have reached this point in your platonic relationships, like in your friendships, in your relationships with family members, where you have built this trust in one another, where you know that you aren't going to lie to one another. You know you aren't going to keep things hidden from one another. Like, the people who you have established connections with and have maintained connections with are people that you know won't deceive you, or people that you know won't sugarcoat things for you just to keep you pleased or appeased or to stroke your ego. Like, these are people that you can go to for genuine advice and counsel. Like, these are people who you know will keep you accountable because they do want to see you grow. They do want to see you succeed. So they won't misguide you. They won't mislead you, misdirect you. That's the vibe I'm getting with vulnerable and justice. And the other thing I'm seeing with this open book, it's like being like an open book. So I'm also seeing that when it comes to your platonic relationships, you're reaching this point where you can read these people like an open book. Like, you know when something is wrong with them. You know when they are not saying everything, like when they are omitting certain details. You know when you are stepping the line. You know when you are starting to cross a boundary. You know what their boundaries are. You know how to communicate with them. And again, this is reciprocal. So it's also them reading you like an open book. Like, they know when you are feeling upset. They know when something is wrong. They know when you are in the mood to talk, or when you are in the mood to be alone, be in solitude. Like, they get it, and they understand what your boundaries are. So I'm seeing intimacy here. Like, your platonic relationships are relationships that are intimate. Like they have been built and worked on over time. So that's why they are at this point where you can be so open and vulnerable with one another, because you have experienced so much together. We do have this young person here standing up to this authoritative figure. So when it comes to your platonic relationships, you are comfortable enough to stand up to one another. Ooh, I'm being reminded of that Harry Potter quote. Professor Dumbledore says it, and I actually had to look it up just to make sure that I say it correctly. It goes, "It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to our enemies, but just as much to stand up to our friends." So that's the vibe I'm getting here. Like, you have reached this point of intimacy and closeness and trust where you can stand up to one another. Like, if someone has crossed a boundary, you can be open about it. Or if you see your friend screwing up, or starting to repeat a negative cycle, like, you're not going to keep quiet about it just to maintain the friendship, or because there is a fear of, what if I speak up and they no longer want to be my friend? No, because you know that you will have each other's back no matter what. Like, you know that you or your friend wouldn't say anything that would hurt each other or sabotage one another. Yeah, so it's also about, like, keeping each other accountable. Maybe for some, that's the thing that you've been debating. Like, do I speak honestly with my friend or with my loved one, with my relative? Do I tell them that they are starting to repeat a negative pattern or a cycle? Do I tell them that I think that they're screwing up, that maybe they should reconsider, like, letting someone back into their life? And if that's the case, if that's kind of similar to your situation or what you've been kind of debating about, with this open card in Justice, I do see you choosing to be honest. I do see you choosing to open up and be vulnerable with your friend or with whoever this may be. And there could be a little bit of, like, a heated argument. Like, the way that they might react to your opinion or to your perspective on a situation could be a bit defensive, which is, I feel it's kind of normal, if we truly believe in something, if we see something from a specific point of view, it's kind of obvious or normal for us to stand up for that, for us to want to stand our ground when it comes to it. So there could be a little bit of that occurring, but because this is the Justice card, I do see balance at the end. So even though there might be some back and forth, even though there might be some clash in perspective or opinion, at the end, I do see you considering each other's opinions. I do see you, like, being respectful to each other's perspectives. Like, the relationship, the connection isn't going to suffer because someone chooses to speak honestly. On the contrary, I feel like the connection is only going to deepen and grow stronger because you're realizing, and I feel like there's this sense of relief, like, I can be honest and still maintain my relationships. Like, I can be honest and be heard. Yeah. And also, this could be someone speaking honestly to you. Maybe telling you a harsh truth, maybe keeping you accountable for something. And you might respond in this defensive way. Like, you might choose to stand up for what you believe in. You might choose to stand up for how you are going about things. And there might be that back and forth. But at the end, I do see you coming to some agreement. I do see you coming to some realization, you or this other person. And I feel with the Justice card, there is a final decision. A final decision will be made in the month of June. Yeah, so I do see you openly communicating with someone in specific, someone you have a platonic relationship with in the month of June, or just your platonic relationships and connections in general this month will experience a lot of open, honest communication. But now I'm going to move into, like, your romantic love life, your romantic relationships. Okay, so we have Speak with Fire, loud expression, and express your words with passion and intent. Your words are needed more than you know. Stay confident and clear and voice your authentic truth. Your voice has power to inspire and open people's minds. Don't hold back. This is literally everything we have been speaking about. I don't know, this month seems to be all about communication when it comes to your relationships, your connections. It's about finding your voice. It's about reigniting that spark, that fire within. You guys are passionate, expressive beings. I did mention how there was something about volume being loud. I feel like loud is indicating that you do have an impact. Your voice has a huge impact on others. Your honesty, your transparency, your sincerity, it really makes a difference. I feel like you guys have this perspective about things, and like you see things for what they are. And that could really help a lot of people take off the blindfold that they have been wearing over their eyes. That could help people like get unstuck or get a higher perspective on a situation. Also, I feel like because you guys are so intuitive, like you see things that other people are not able to see because you are connected to your intuition, because you are connected to source, because you are connected to spirit, because you do sense and pick up on energies. Yeah, so that's why maybe sometimes it's difficult for you to speak honestly or for you to share your opinions, because most of the things that you pick up on, most of the things that you sense have yet to manifest in the 3D. In situations like that, it might be difficult to share your opinions because you might think, how do I support them? Or how do I get other people to trust in what it is that I'm saying? Yeah, and we did mention at the beginning that we can't force others to see. Yeah, and you don't have to work hard to make other people see what you see, because I feel like that's only going to deplete you. That's only going to drain you. Look, we have strength with courage and overcoming control. Strength is a major arcana card that is associated with the zodiac sign Leo. So we have more Leo energy here. Yeah, so this is about speaking honestly in all your relationship dynamics. You having the courage to speak your mind in your romantic relationships as well. And expressing your truth and just expressing yourself. And strength also speaks about overcoming self-doubt. And what I'm also getting from strength is boundaries. So I feel like when it comes to your romantic relationships, or when it comes to your romantic love life, like for example, if you're not in a romantic relationship, but you are dating people, you're getting to know people, or you are open to like romantic prospects, this is about you not shying away from saying when something doesn't feel right to you. If someone has crossed a boundary or someone is starting to step out of line, like instead of keeping quiet about it, you voice it, like right then and there. This is a very forthcoming energy. Like it's kind of this feeling of not giving people the benefit of the doubt. Like if you see a red flag, you kind of point it out, or like taking things at face value is the vibe I'm getting here. Like for example, if you're starting to date someone and that person right from the get-go says, but I'm not interested in commitment, I'm not ready to commit, and you're looking for commitment, you're not sticking around to wait and see if that person is going to change their mind or want to commit later on. Like you're taking that person at face value. It's again like that feeling of not assuming. Like if someone does something that is disrespectful or is kind of like iffy, like it didn't sit right with you, you're not keeping quiet about it and then trying to decipher what that meant, or making excuses is the vibe I'm getting. Like you're not making excuses for other people's negative behavior or disrespect. It's kind of like putting your foot down, implementing your boundaries. Just to give you an example, if someone screams at you or yells at you because they are frustrated, like your response or reaction, and this is just an example, would be, like, I get that you're angry, but treating me that way is not acceptable. I don't accept it. Yeah, so I also get this feeling of like standing up for yourself, speaking honestly, speaking your truth, like setting your boundaries, implementing them, enforcing them. The Strength card in Speak with Fire also makes me think of individuality, finding your individuality in your romantic relationship. Like if you are in a committed romantic relationship, this would be, yes, I get that we are in a partnership, that we are in a relationship, but I'm also an individual. I'm also a free-thinking person. I have free will. I get to choose for myself what is best for me. I get to choose what I feel about something. I get to choose what I believe in. I get to choose who I am. That's what I'm seeing with these two cards. The message that just came to mind is there's no more silencing who you are. because I did mention like walking on like feeling the need to walk on eggshells. For some, this could be like pertaining to your romantic connections or relationship. Like even if you are not in a romantic relationship, maybe when you are dating or getting to know romantic prospects, you start walking on eggshells because there could be like this belief or that you need to please the other, that you need to be liked and accepted. And so you become very mindful of what you say, what you do. You kind of adapt to the other person. It's kind of this feeling of slowly losing your personality or your individuality to match someone else. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Like I said, like dimming your light in order to make someone else feel comfortable. And so what I'm seeing in the month of June is that you're no longer doing that. It's like, no, like why should I change in order to be liked by someone if what I want is to be liked for myself, for who I am? It's like this new tactic of showing up as you are right from the get-go. Like, this is who I am. This is my inner fire. This is how brightly I shine. This is me. Are you comfortable with this level of brightness? Are you comfortable with my inner fire? If not, that's okay. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. We're just not vibing, and that's totally fine. I can move on. And if you are in a committed romantic relationship, again, this is the same thing, like showing up authentically, honestly, like this is how passionate I am about this. Like this is what I believe in. Even if you don't agree with it, I still believe in this. Even if I might get an emotional reaction or response from you, this is how I feel about this situation. Yeah, this might sound very strange, but it's like no longer fearing conflict, because I feel like some of you could have held back to avoid conflict. And with these two cards, it's like, no, keeping quiet is no longer serving me. Yeah, because the strength speaks about finding your inner strength. So, and when I said that, I bit my tongue accidentally. So there could still be some like fear or inner conflict about speaking up. Maybe for some who are in a romantic relationship, it could be that your significant other has this tendency of silencing you. Like every time you're getting passionate about something, or every time that you want to speak up, they might silence you, or they might guilt trip you. They might be very emotionally reactive. So like they might react to the slightest of things, and then that might trigger a certain response in you where you start feeling guilty, or you think you did something wrong, or you feel like you need to keep quiet, you need to pull back. So if that resonates with you, what I see happening this month is that, yes, you are considering other people's feelings. We did mention that with the line. I feel like you guys are very considerate of others. Yet, you are realizing that like there's this feeling of no longer sheltering someone. There's like this feeling of realizing that sheltering or overprotecting someone isn't helping that person grow, or isn't helping a relationship, a connection grow. You are bound to bump heads with your significant other at some point. And like healthy conflict is normal. Like healthy disagreement is normal. The other thing I'm getting with strength and speak with fire, it's like, it goes back to that message. Like we can speak honestly without being disrespectful. It's like, I'm also getting something like managing your temper, seeing when you yourself are like getting out of line, or like crossing someone else's boundary, or even crossing your own boundary. Because fire, when it's not managed, it can get out of control, right? And so with strength speaks about patience, and it speaks about taming and control. So it's like also managing your inner fire. And I'm thinking fire as like frustration, anger, irritability, like passion. You know, because we can be passionate about disagreeing with someone. We can be passionate about wanting to prove someone wrong, or wanting to prove ourselves right. Yeah, it's also kind of discerning and noticing, being aware when we are being ego-driven, when our wounded ego is showing up, when our insecurities are showing up, when we are acting out of insecurity. Yeah, so like it could be that you experience a lot of emotional outbursts or reactivity in the past, and what I see happening in the month of June is that you're very aware of that. Like you're aware that you have these emotional outbursts, and you're kind of learning how to manage them. Because it could be that having these emotional outbursts didn't really allow for you to communicate clearly what it is that you wanted to express. And so you're seeing how these emotional outbursts, or having this emotional reactivity, isn't serving your relationships or connections. And with strength here, I do see you having made a lot of progress when it comes to it. And the other thing I'm seeing with, this imagery of fire and with this strong Leo energy is that in the month of June, you are going to be less shy about what you want when it comes to physical intimacy. You are going to be less shy about your sexuality or your sensuality, like your sexual preferences. You're going to feel more okay with voicing what it is that you want, voicing your needs. Yeah, I feel like this month is about being okay with putting your needs first. And for those of you who are single but aren't dating, aren't seeing anyone, when it comes to your romantic love life, I feel like you are starting to be more and more honest with yourself and being more vocal or being more open about what it is that you desire when it comes to romance. Because I did speak about like a hyper independence. So this could be a situation in which you value your independence, or you want to come through as an independent individual, and so you might think that in order to be independent, you can't long for love, you can't long for romance. You have to be independent, or you have to be single and proud. But in reality, that's what you crave. In reality, a partner is what you want. In reality, romance is what you want to experience. And so it's kind of like you're letting go of like the ego. Like you're no longer letting the ego speak for you, or this belief. Like you're letting go of it, and you're being okay with expressing what it is that you truly desire, Yeah, I'm proud of my independence. I love independence. I am an independent individual, but I also want a romantic partner. I also want to experience romance. I also want to be in a relationship, and that's perfectly fine. I can do both. I can want both. Get this feeling of no longer feeling ashamed about what your preferences are, what it is that you like, what it is that you want to experience when it comes to romance, when it comes to physical intimacy. This is what I'm seeing so far. I feel like there's so many more messages, but this reading is already a bit long. Yeah, primarily I feel like this month is about discovering your inner voice, your voice, the volume of your voice as well, discovering how important and powerful your voice truly is in your self-expression. You're not meant to keep silent. You're not meant to be silent. Okay, but now I'm going to pull out some extra oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance from spirit. I did point out the zodiac signs. So we have Justice with Libra, Strength with Leo, Leo with the Lion. So these could be important zodiac signs. They could be the zodiac sign of someone who will be playing a significant role in your life in the month of June. Or this could be your sun, moon, or rising sign. But again, it doesn't have to be. Okay, so let me pull out some oracle cards. Okay, so 3 cards, perfect. So we have, if you find yourself forcing or efforting, take a break. Everything feels effortless after alignment of your energy. Yeah, this is making me think of like taking a step back. If you feel like you don't have enough clarity about a situation, or you feel stuck on a situation, maybe the best course of action is to step away from it. Come back to it later with a fresh new perspective, fresh new eyes. Yeah, because the other thing I'm getting with this like flower and the rainbow in the background, it's like if you don't know how to respond to something, if you don't know what's the best course of action, it could be that the best course of action is to not take any action, because this might resolve itself on its own. So if you just wait it out, things might resolve themselves on their own. So maybe you just need to wait it out. But let's see. So we have, there's no limit to your capacity to enjoy this moment in time. Embrace it now fully. We have another rainbow here. So rainbows could be significant for you guys. And we also have exciting new opportunities are abound. Take a chance and change your life. This is making me think of leadership, being the creator of your own reality. I feel like speaking honestly, being transparent, being sincere is going to change a lot of things for you. And I feel it's for the better, because we do have this energy of like exciting new opportunities are abound. Like it's really going to shift things for you in a positive way, in a positive direction. Bunnies, rabbits could be an important animal. Yeah, and this eye on the hand is making me think of protection. Yeah, remember we did get a lot of messages about protecting your energy. So maybe wearing an evil eye could help. Oh, and then we have a lot of sun symbolism here. Sun is also associated with fire signs, with Leo. So there's a lot of fire energy. Yeah, but these are all the messages we have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Yeah, but that is all for now. Wishing you a wonderful month of June, and until the next moment, bye-bye. Hello you guys who chose the Stingray, bienvenidos to your reading. So before we get started, I would like to quickly go over a list of everything that is going to be covered in this reading. So there will be 3 parts, and in part 1, I will be sharing with you what I intuitively picked up on when connecting with the energy of your group. In part 2, I will be working with both tarot and oracle cards to find out what it is that you can expect in the month of June when it comes to 3 different relationship dynamics. So we will first look at your relationship with yourself. Then we will look at your platonic relationships, so your friendships, your relationship with family, and so forth. And we are going to take a look at your romantic love life. And last but not least, to wrap up the reading, I will be pulling out extra oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance from Spirit for the month of June. Okay? But now let us begin. So as I tapped into this group's energy, I felt the presence of beings of light who share a strong connection with you. So these beings of light felt like ancestors, like loved ones who have passed on, who are on the other side, that are working with you. Yeah, there's some kind of special bond between you and these beings of light that came through. So they could also be spirit guides of yours, or like I said, they feel more like family. So these could even be soul family members, members of your soul tribe, soulmates. And they came through with such a loving and supportive energy. So know that you are being supported and looked after by beings of light that care so much for you. And I want to be very clear in that these could be ancestors or loved ones who have passed on, who feel very strongly for you, even though you might have never met them, even though you don't know of them. You know, like for example, if it's a loved one who has passed on, this could be someone who you never met in the physical 3D. Maybe they passed on before you were even born, but you still have some strong connection with them. It's like, even though you weren't able to form a strong bond in the physical 3D, you were able to form this bond in the spiritual world, in the astral realm. You were able to build this bond energetically. It's like, even though you didn't get to know them in the physical 3D, they got to know you by looking after you, looking over you, you and your family, you and your loved ones. Yeah, so I do feel like it's an ancestor or a loved one who is coming through for you guys. And they are a spirit guide of yours. They are part of your spirit team. And they are your number 1 fan. They are your number 1 cheerleader, number 1 supporter. The energy that is coming through feels very funny, very playful. I feel like they like to poke fun at you in a very endearing, loving way, never disrespectful, never mean. Like, this is someone who doesn't take themselves so seriously, but they know when to be serious. So this ancestor or loved one or spirit guide, whoever it is that is coming through for you guys, is someone who is here to teach you how to loosen up, how to believe in yourself as well, and how to feel good about yourself. How to stand up for yourself, how to stand up for your dreams. It's like they are here to help you realize your potential. They are here to help you see yourself with loving eyes, or see how amazing you are. And I should have just given this example right from the beginning, but when I looked at the Stingray, it reminded me of the Disney movie Moana. More specifically, I was reminded of Moana's grandma, because that's how she comes through for Moana, in the form of a stingray after she has passed on. And Moana's grandmother was very eclectic, eccentric. She was her own person. She never bothered to get on the bandwagon. She never bothered to change herself in order to be liked by others. She always stayed true to herself. And that's what she kind of encouraged Moana to do. To believe in herself, in her dreams, in her ability to make her dreams a reality, and to stay true to herself. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. It's like whoever is coming through for you guys is someone who wants for you to believe in yourself and have the courage to choose your own path. Yeah. Ooh, because the other very interesting thing is that I'm nosy. So whenever there are messages or references that come to mind when tapping into a group's energy, I like to look them up. So in this case, I felt called to look up the scene where Moana's grandma, I believe, is Grandma Tala, comes up. And actually the clip that I ended up seeing by coincidence is the clip where Grandma Tala tells Moana that when she dies, she is going to come back as a stingray. And it's also the part where Moana tells Grandma Tala that it's time to put her stone on the mountain, which indicates that she is about to take on the role that has been dictated for her, that is expected of her. And the interesting thing is that right when Moana said this, I had lit a matchstick to light up this candle. But the matchstick, it lit, but then the fire extinguished. And I have all my windows closed. There's no breezes or anything to put the fire out. It literally extinguished. It tried its very best to keep a light, but it couldn't. It's like it didn't have any air or to breathe, and it just went out. And I found that so interesting because it's like I felt that was a message from Spirit or whoever was coming through, that they did not agree with Moana's decision to chase someone else's dreams, to try and meet someone's expectations instead of chasing her own dreams. Yeah, so I feel like you're being encouraged to go after what it is that you want, to pursue your own dreams. And most importantly, to believe in yourself, believe in your magic, believe in your potential. Give yourself more credit is the vibe I'm getting. You guys are amazing. Spirit or whoever is coming through for you guys, they want for you to know and to realize, to acknowledge that you are amazing, because you are amazing. And what other thing? Oh, there was a message that came to mind. I feel it's coming from this energy, this being of light who is connecting at this moment, which was, you are okay. You are all right, kiddo. Everything's all right. Yeah, so know that you are looked after. Know that you are divinely protected. You have beings of light on your side who just adore you, who love you, who genuinely have and I got choked up all of a sudden, who genuinely have the best of intentions for you, and they are with you. They have your back no matter what. And remember, these beings of light, they are able to tap into your energy, your essence. They see you for who you are. Not who they want you to be, not who they expect you to be, not who you portray yourself to be, but for who you are. They see your intentions, they see your heart, they see your soul, and they love you. They support you. They want to see you thrive. They see your dreams, what you truly long for, and they see how beautiful it is, and they're rooting for you to align with these dreams, rooting for you to find the courage and find the motivation, find the inspiration to pursue these dreams, to make them a reality, because they see how beautiful they are. They see how much of a positive impact they can make, not only in yourself, but also in others, in the world maybe. Yeah, because, Moana went on a journey to restore the heart of Te Fiti, which is essentially Mother Gaia. So she went on a huge mission that ended up helping not only herself, but everyone, Mother Gaia included. So yeah, you guys are powerful. You are powerful. And I'm not saying this in a way to feed your ego or to stroke your ego, but it's more like to help you realize that you are precious. You are important. What you do matters. It matters. Okay, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with love and relationships? But I feel like these messages would mostly be pertaining to your relationship with yourself, because I feel like this month is about improving the relationship with yourself. And in improving the relationship with yourself, you are also improving your relationship with others. Yeah, but I don't know. I hope I didn't go on a tangent. The intuitively channeled messages have been getting longer and longer. As I keep doing more of these general readings, I don't intend for it to be that way. It just ends up being that way. I hope some of these messages resonate with you, that they are of assistance to you. But I was going to say that I was so excited. I felt so excited about doing your reading as soon as I tapped into your energy, because it felt so light, it felt so supportive, and yeah, I was just filled with excitement. So now I just want to share with you the message that is on the back of this card. Of course, stingrays could be an important animal, a spirit animal of yours, or like I said, maybe an ancestor or loved one who is on the other side has decided to reincarnate as a stingray, or they show up to you in the form of a stingray. So if you dream about stingrays, or you dream with stingrays, or if you see images of stingrays a lot, that could be your spirit guide, this ancestor, this loved one coming through for you. Okay, but let's see. We have Stingray with assertiveness, and the message, often on the defense, Stingray teaches us how to be assertive. It is not always necessary to lash out as the aggressor. Instead, she teaches us lessons of strategy and composure. Resting on the bottom, sometimes even undercover, she finds it even important to take her time. At her own pace, she is able to remain collected when the current pulls her out. Against the tide, she asserts herself with calm resolve. Stingray is a strong guide for those in the midst of chaos. This sentence really stood out to me. Stingray is a strong guide for those in the midst of chaos. So maybe some of you guys are currently in the midst of chaos, or you feel a bit lost, or you are struggling with something. And if so, this might be why this ancestor, why this loved one, or why this specific energy is coming through to assist you, to help you get out of the situation, or to help you realize that you can get out of this situation, that you do have the power to create a positive shift, or a positive outcome, or a positive impact. Yeah, like the overall vibe I'm getting here is you are not helpless, and you are not hopeless, or you are not in a hopeless situation, or this feeling of don't lose hope, because things will get better. They will get better. They are bound to get better is the message that is coming through. They are bound to get better. They will. Like, it's the message that is coming to mind. I feel like this is coming from that ancestor or loved one or spirit guide that I was connecting with at the beginning. They want for you to believe. They want for you to keep hoping, keep fighting for what you believe in, for yourself. Yeah, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope is the vibe I'm getting. Don't lose hope. I keep getting overwhelmed, because I just keep picking up on such a loving energy. Like, they have so much, they believe in you so much. Yeah, they just want for you to start believing in yourself. Okay, but now I'm going to pull out some cards to find out how your relationship with yourself will be this month. Okay, so the card that fell out is Judgmental with Critic number 49, and the message, leave any judgments behind, specifically of yourself. Okay, all the judgments in the world should only come from menial people who don't have anything better to do with themselves, and these people do not need your energy. Yep, it's definitely about believing in yourself. You guys could be very self-critical. You could judge yourself a lot, be very harsh with yourself. Some of you could engage in like negative self-talk, or negative self-thinking, or even self-deprecation, and this is only affecting your self-esteem, your self-worth. But let's see. Let me shuffle. There's even this feeling of guilt. Like if you do engage in negative self-talk, negative self-thinking, or self-deprecation, I feel like you guys know this, that you do this, and you might even feel guilt about that. And that might result in you judging yourself even more. Like, I shouldn't be doing this, but I am. And it kind of feeds the cycle. Okay, but let's see. This card flipped over. It didn't fall out, which is quite interesting. So we have the Four of Swords upright with mutual overload, sanctuary, and solitude. Yeah, I was going to say, like, you are being advised to release this guilt. I feel you guys tend to be very hard on yourselves. Like, even when you are doing the inner work, even when you are healing, you could be very hard on yourselves. Like, you expect yourself to be perfect or have reached perfection. And this feeling of needing to be perfect can take a toll on you, can be a lot, because in reality, no one is perfect. No one is perfect. And it's interesting how we have this television, because it's making me think of, like, you know, the characters we portray, what we see on TV, on social media. You might have very, I wouldn't say high standards, it would be more like unrealistic standards for yourself. You might compare yourself to these unrealistic or false ideas. Like, for example, if you see someone on social media and they are playing this role of being utterly perfect, you might compare yourself to that. Like, I need to be that, without realizing that they are playing a role. People put the best version of themselves, the best part of their days on social media. Not a lot of people are going to post about the bad days. Not a lot of people are going to reveal their not so pretty side on social media. Not a lot of people are going to expose themselves in that way. So be very careful as to not compare yourself to what you see on TV, on social media, or compare yourself to others. Because remember, what you see isn't all that is. Yeah, because I feel like you guys might have this tendency to compare yourself to others, or to compare yourself, the you who is right now, with this idea of the perfect version of yourself. And this often leads you feeling discouraged or disappointed in yourself, because you feel like you don't compare, like you fall short every time. And again, it's because what you're comparing yourself to is unrealistic. It's like standing at the base of a mountain and looking at the top of the mountain and wanting to get from the bottom to the top in the blink of an eye. And because you're not able to do that, you beat yourself up for it, without taking into consideration that no one is able to do that. That's a false expectation. In order to get to the top, one needs to climb the mountain. And that's going to be a long journey. There will probably be some setbacks along the way. Yeah, because I feel like some of you might even believe or think that growth or healing is linear. And so if you do experience like a relapse, for example, then you take that as an indicator that you haven't made any progress. But that isn't true, because growth and healing isn't linear. And healing isn't about reaching perfection. It's about getting to know yourself. It's about accepting all aspects of yourself, even those aspects that might not be so pretty. Yeah, so with mental overload, I feel like there's a lot of overthinking. You might tend to overthink everything you do or overanalyze it. Yeah, you guys might even struggle with like feeling self-conscious. Like you're very, very aware, very hyper aware of everything that you do or don't do. Like that is very overwhelming and might create a lot of stress. It might often lead to you feeling burnt out because you are working your mind so much. So there was a message at the beginning about a being of light working with you to help you loosen up a bit. So I feel like that's the advice for the month of June. Like to be less hard on yourself, to release these false expectations and unrealistic standards. Because I feel like you guys, you're focusing so much on this idea, this vision of who you need to be, that you are denying yourself the you who is right now. It's like you have struggled accepting who you are right now because it doesn't match this ideal version of who you think you should be. So you continuously deny yourself. It's like, nope, this isn't me. This isn't me. The me who is right now isn't worthy of my love and acceptance, because the one who is that future version of myself. It's that best version of myself. So I need to first be that before I can experience my acceptance, before I can experience my love. And it's like you're trying to reach self-love and acceptance through self-denial, and it doesn't work that way. And actually what I'm seeing with the Four of Swords is this feeling of grieving. Like it's like in the month of June, you're mourning or you're grieving the loss of this idea of who you thought you should be. But what I'm seeing is that in you releasing these ideas, you are freeing yourself. Because the feeling I'm getting with the Four of Swords is like this fatigue. It's like trying your very best, trying your very hardest to be someone or something. And the more you try, the more impossible it feels. Yeah, ooh. I don't know if you noticed that, but like this card just like moved a bit. And again, I don't have any windows open. I didn't bump into the table or anything. Yeah, so I feel like this month is about being less judgmental of yourself, being less critical of yourself. It's like releasing this idea of perfection. Because I feel like you guys have placed this ideal version of yourself on a pedestal. Like if perfection does exist, this ideal version of yourself that you have created, that you think you need to be accepted, to be loved, to be deserving of all that you desire, is not even half as perfect as the real you. Yeah, because we did get those messages of spirit working with you to see how amazing you are. And that's the vibe I'm getting. It's like you are looking to other stars, comparing yourself to them, longing to be them, to be a star, whilst ignoring the fact that you yourself are a star. You are amongst the stars because you yourself are a star, shining as brightly as them. Like, stop looking outwards, because that's only keeping you from seeing you, seeing yourself, seeing all of you. The good, the bad, the pretty, the not so pretty, all of it, the intricacy of who you are. Because the message that just came to mind from this stingray over here is you're missing out. You are missing out on so much beauty, on so much wonder, on so much intricacy, complexity, by you looking outward. Because all that you need is right here, is you, is within you. You can't get to point B without, experiencing point A, and you're at point A. So because the Four of Swords represents rest, I feel like you are taking a rest from this like overthinking, from overanalyzing every little thing you do or don't do. You're taking a break from trying so hard, trying to be someone. And I just looked out the window and there was a white butterfly fluttering about. Butterflies make me think of transformation, of self-acceptance. Yeah, so like instead of trying to become, you are seeing who you are and how it is that you can evolve and grow. Like you're getting to understand yourself. Like instead of being judgmental, self-critical, you are choosing to understand yourself more and more. Like, this is my complexities. Like this is my intricacy. This is how my wires are connected. This is how I experience the world. This is me. Interesting. So, you know what? With these two cards, I feel like when it comes to your healing, your growth, you are doing very well. You're doing better than you think you are. You're doing better than you give yourself credit for. You guys have done so much inner work. Even though you might not see it or realize it, you have grown so much. You have learned so much. And that's why I feel like this stingray came through to let you know, like you're all right. You're doing good. Like everything is going to be all right. Like I feel like this is about acknowledging your efforts, giving yourself more credit. Like, giving yourself a pat on the back isn't going to hurt you, isn't going to negatively affect your progress or your growth, isn't going to stroke your ego or feed your ego or misdirect you or anything like that. It's going to encourage yourself. It's very sad. I am picking up on a very sad energy because like if you see it on this outside perspective, it's like a kid who is trying their very best, like they're doing their hardest to satisfy, to appease, to be accepted by an adult that they look up to, that they care for, that they want to see happy. But no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, it's never enough. And it's like at the end of the day, this kid goes to bed without having heard once, you did a good job. Getting all emotional again, but it's like they go to bed without ever hearing that from the person they look the most up to. They go to bed without hearing, I am proud of you. I am proud of your efforts. You did good today. You did so good. You are amazing. Like, they never get that validation. And that child is you. That child is your inner child. That child is you. And that adult who keeps demanding more and more, who is never pleased, that's your inner critic. That's your judgment. That's perfectionism coming through. That's this insecurity, this fear, belief of not being good enough. So don't go to bed without hearing from yourself that you did do a good job. Don't go to bed without hearing from yourself that you are proud of you, or proud of something that you did, proud of something that you didn't do, proud of your efforts, proud of trying. Because this self-denial really hurts you. Like, you might not realize it, you might not acknowledge it, but it really hurts a part within you that is craving self-acceptance, that is craving your love. I know this might sound all very cheesy, but I'm feeling this so strongly. Like if you feel alone, or you feel like you're craving love, you could be craving the acceptance and like love of others, but in all honesty, what I'm seeing is that what you are craving the most is your own acceptance. Like, what you are craving the most or wanting to hear the most is, I am proud of me. I did a good job. I did a really damn good job. I am okay. I am good. I am a good person. I deserve happiness. I deserve love. I feel like that's what you are craving or needing the most. So I feel like this month is about taking a break from negative self-talk, negative self-thinking. Like, enough is enough with that. Like, you're tired of that. You're taking a break from that. It's this feeling of like, if your mind starts being mean, like, you don't have the energy to enable that, like to encourage that. You don't have the energy for it anymore. You just let it be. And it's not like you're becoming numb to it, but it's more like, I don't wanna get out of my way to validate you. Like, negative self-thinking. I don't want to get out of my way to start talking negatively about myself in order to validate you or encourage you. I don't have the energy and time to do that, so I'm not gonna do that. It's like with the TV here, it's like letting the TV play in the background, but you're not really paying attention to it. It's like you can exhaust yourself. You can go on and on and on playing, but I won't pay attention to you. I'm not gonna watch you. I'm not gonna engage with you because I don't have the energy for it. You don't appeal to me anymore. Because it can become quite addictive, to encourage that negative self-thinking and negative self-talk. It can become a habit. But what I'm seeing, it's like you're tired of that. You don't want to deal with that. Like, you don't want to encourage that anymore. So you're taking a break from it. You might feel a bit fatigued, a bit tired in the month of June. You might often feel like taking a nap. And it's because you are releasing, you are letting go. You're kind of, how do they say it? Like, pausing a wheel from turning, like a cycle from continuing. Like, you're shifting gears is the vibe I'm getting, and that can be quite tiring. Because it's stopping something and then recalibrating, resetting to start something new, something different. And I feel like that's what you're experiencing in the month of June. It's like you're getting out of an old mindset, an old way of relating to yourself, to step into something new. And what you are stepping into, it's like being more nurturing with yourself, more accepting, being more encouraging of yourself, believing in yourself more. Like letting go of this false notion of what it means to be perfect, of what it means to be good, of what it means to be deserving of love and acceptance. But now I'm going to move into your platonic relationships. The Four of Swords also represents healing, so this month I feel is very healing. Like, your relationship with yourself is healing, or will be healing this month. So we have overstimulated with, you may be working too hard within work or a relationship. Take a moment to understand what is overstimulating your mind or body. Interesting. And to clarify, Yeah, I find this interesting because I was picking up on overstimulation with these cards. It's like your mind is overstimulated because there's been so much like overthinking. So we have the Queen of Swords in reverse with pessimistic, poor communication, and manipulative. Yeah, look, this Queen of Swords is weighing this sword at the top of their head. And swords are associated with the mental realm, with thoughts. So it's like you're always up in your head when it comes to your relationships. You might always often be thinking about how you're perceived by others, or you might always be worrying about what others might be thinking of you or how others think of you. With overstimulated, there's this feeling of being hyper aware of yourself, being very self-conscious. With this Queen of Swords being in reverse, this could be your energy, but it could also be the energy of someone else who will be playing a significant role in your life in the month of June when it comes to your platonic relationships. And the Queen of Swords is an air sign, so Libra, Gemini, and or Aquarius. And this could be someone that you tend to compare yourself to, or this could be someone that you tend to like worry a lot about what they might think of you, how they might perceive you. But also, since this Queen showed up in reverse, this could be someone who is not easy to work with. It's the vibe I'm getting. It's like, this is someone who is hard to please. Like I said, this could be you, could be someone else, but this is definitely someone who is hard to please. Like, nothing is ever enough for them. They're always expecting more and more and more and more. And because this Queen is in reverse, which denotes that this energy is imbalanced, ungrounded, like nothing being enough for them, like them always expecting more, isn't exactly because they have really high standards, but it's more because they might not even exactly know what it is that they want. It's like they're always seeking for more because they don't know yet what it is that they're looking for, and so nothing is ever enough. So I get a very like demanding energy from this Queen of Swords in reverse. And so this Queen of Swords can be very judgmental. And this could be someone who is very judgmental of you, and maybe that's why there's this like need to prove yourself or to be perfect, because that's what this Queen of Swords in reverse demands, perfection. But the other thing I'm getting is that this Queen of Swords could simply be very judgmental, you know? Like if you're hanging out with them, they could start judging the people that are passing by, or they could start gossiping about people that you know. And so it kind of elicits this fear of like, would I be judged? Or if this is a relative, someone that you grew up with, and this person has always been judgmental, then that means that you grew up around this energy. And so you kind of learned to judge, or like kind of learned to be super hyper aware of every little thing in detail. Like I always need to be put together because I learned that people are often judged by their appearance, or I need to always speak eloquently because I learned from this Queen of Swords that people are judged for the way that they speak, or I always need to be mindful of my body posture because I learned from this Queen of Swords that people are judged for their posture. Like it's that kind of, or maybe this is not a specific person, but more like the energy that you grew up in, the kind of environment that you grew up in, or you were often exposed to. Like a lot of judgment and criticism that resulted in you being very hyper aware of yourself. But with this message like spread thin, I feel like you focusing so much on these things has spread you thin, because you're realizing that it's so unnatural. It takes so much effort, like so much effort and energy to be what others expect you to be liked by everyone, or to be liked by a specific group of people that are demanding so much, that are expecting so much, and are possibly they themselves are not giving that. You know, what they are expecting, they themselves are not giving it, and it's because it is a lot. It is unrealistic. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. It's like there's unrealistic expectations. So what I see when it comes to your platonic relationships is that you're noticing if they are draining you, and what aspect of these platonic relationships is draining you. Is it these like high expectations? Is this belief that you need to show up perfectly in your relationships? Is someone demanding too much from you? Is someone expecting you to show up in a certain way that isn't exactly who you are? Or is someone literally draining you? Like every time you're with them, you feel drained. Like after you have spent time with them, you feel depleted, you feel discouraged, you feel unmotivated, you feel uninspired, you feel down about yourself. Like if you're spending time with someone and after you have spent time with them, you notice that you start thinking negatively about yourself, you start thinking negatively about the world, like you start having this negative perception, it could be that this person is negatively affecting you. When we feel drained after spending time with someone, that could be an indicator that we don't align with that person. You know, whatever that person stands for, whatever energy they are embodying, whatever it is that they believe, we don't align with that. So if you're spending time with someone who's very pessimistic or someone who tends to judge a lot, tends to gossip, can be a bit manipulative, very demanding, and then you feel really bad after you spend time with them or as you're spending time with them, that's an indicator that you are not like this person. You are not in alignment with how this person is showing up. You are not in alignment with these person's values, with their beliefs, with their morals. So pay attention as to how you feel when you are around certain people. Or this could be someone who, whenever you meet them, like they tend to unload on you. Like they only meet you when they are going through something difficult. They only meet you to emotionally dump on you. Yeah, and that results in you feeling overstimulated, you know, because it's like they come in with all this heavy energy, with all this frustration, anger, sadness, and then you meet with them and then they dump all this on you. And so then you're left feeling like, overly stimulated, like, I'm dealing with my stuff and now I'm dealing also with this Queen of Swords in reverse's like baggage, and that might be too much. So also notice that, like how you feel when you're with someone, after you spend time with someone. This could also be indicating that you need stronger boundaries when it comes to your platonic relationships, because I feel like you guys could be very empathic. You are very sensitive to energy, or you're very sensitive to other people's needs and emotions, and oftentimes you might want to meet those needs because you do desire to see other people happy. You do want to help others. You might have that like inherent thing where you want to help or be of assistance. But you might interpret that as like needing to please others, or needing to always do the right thing, or needing to do right by others. So you might even do something like unconsciously take on other people's problems. Like by wanting to fix their problems for them, or by taking on the energy. Like if someone is feeling stressed or anxious and then they go up to you, you might sense that immediately that they're stressed and anxious, and in order to help them, you might take on that energy yourself to lessen that stress or that burden on that person. And like I said, you might do this unknowingly, unconsciously. Yeah, if you often find yourself being overly stimulated, or like emotions are running high, or you're feeling mixed emotions, it could be because you're taking on energy and or emotions that aren't of you. And so like strong boundaries are needed, like protecting your energy is needed. Making time every day, before starting your day, at the end of your day, to ask yourself, okay, what is of me and what isn't? Whatever isn't of me can leave me now. Yeah, so the Queen of Swords in reverse could be indicating needing stronger boundaries. Not feeling the need to take on other people's problems, or to be someone's savior, or to be someone's crutch. Yeah, because with spread thin, this could be indicating that you give so much of yourself away. Like you help so many people, or you spread yourself thin trying to accommodate so many different people's needs. So it's like calling your energy back to you and attending to your needs first. Yeah, so don't be afraid to prioritize yourself this month. And also, if needed, create some distance between you and people who are draining you or who are demanding too much. Yeah, and you know, we do have this message of poor communication. So if you are going through a lot, you know, if you are feeling very fatigued, very tired, if you do feel overstimulated, it could be that in the month of June, you might not be in the mood or have the energy to socialize or to keep in contact with others. So don't feel guilty about not replying a text on time, or if you do have a lot of acquaintances or friends, don't feel guilty about not keeping up with all of them. You know, because if you're getting like 20 messages a day, or you're trying to hold 5 different conversations at once through text, it might be a lot, you know? It's literally you dividing your attention and your energy. So don't feel like you need to do that this month. Don't feel like you need to, you know, spread yourself thin in that way, especially if your energy is running pretty low, especially if you need that energy for you, you know, in order to work through something, in order to attend to your basic needs. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting here. But now I'm going to move into romantic love. Ooh, okay. So we have don't make plans, number 78, with spontaneity, and the message, sometimes planning too early in advance has a strong probability of things not turning out exactly how you planned. Don't put any expectations into a situation. Go with the flow and allow in spontaneity. More fun surprises are accepted this way. Okay, let's see. There is a helicopter hovering above the house, so if you hear a loud noise, that is a helicopter. Okay, but we have the 5 of Wands upright with conflict, clash of egos, and fights. Okay. So for those of you in a relationship, or for those of you who are seeing someone, getting to know someone in that romantic way, you could be canceling plans that you made with this person in the month of June. And it could be due to a disagreement, because 5 of Wands has that energy of conflict. You could be getting into a disagreement with your significant other or with someone that you are seeing. And then that might result in you not feeling in the mood to go out with that person, or to see that person, or to spend time with them. The other scenario I'm getting here is that someone might need to cancel plans due to other matters, due to work, for example, and that might piss the other person off. They could be kind of like frustrated at the other person, or just at the situation, like, man, why did this have to happen at this time when we had made plans to travel or made plans for this? But if that's the case, I don't see this being like a huge issue. It's just like someone is feeling frustrated at the situation. Or the other thing I'm getting with spontaneity is that you or this other person could be quite spontaneous, so you don't like making plans, and that might not sit right with the other. Because I feel like one of you likes to plan. One of you likes to prepare. For example, if you identify as an introvert, you might need like a heads up about when you're going out, or who you are meeting up with, or what you're gonna do to like mentally prepare for it. And so it kind of bugs you when someone shows up at the last minute or invites you to go out at the last minute, because you haven't had that time to prepare, to mentally prepare, or simply to free up your schedule. Yeah, because the other vibe I'm getting here is that some of you guys might not like when your routine gets messed up. And so I'm kind of getting that from these 2 cards. It's like someone likes to plan, someone has a routine, and the other person likes to be more spontaneous. They might not be so considerate of the other person's routines or the other person's need for planning and so forth. And that might lead to like conflict, you know, not seeing eye to eye. I feel like this energy is more for people who have recently started to date someone or get to know someone in that intimate romantic way. Because it's like you're getting to know each other's habits, you're getting to know each other's tendencies, and like you're kind of learning how to adapt to one another, or how to compromise. Like, this is what I require, this is what I need, this is what I like, and this is what I can handle, this is what I accept, this is what I can compromise, but this, no, don't touch this. This is mine, this is me time, this is my day, don't touch that day, or don't touch that hour. That's special to me. I don't want to compromise or negotiate that. So it's like, what's negotiable and what isn't? You know, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting with these 2 cards. But I do see a bit of a like butting heads. I do see some disagreements. I do see like you experiencing moments with your significant other where you're not seeing eye to eye. Yeah, and like I said, this might result in you canceling plans with this person. The other thing I'm seeing is that if you are like dating someone, it could be that you you decide to stop dating this person or to stop seeing this person. Yeah, and it could be because you're not meeting eye to eye, or you find this person disrespectful, or like you're just not aligning, you're not vibing with one another. It isn't working out. That's the vibe I'm getting with these two cards. But there is a heads up here, or kind of a reminder that every relationship has some level of compromising. Like there needs to be working out, because relationships and partnerships are about two people. I know there could be more than two people involved, with like consent and stuff like that, but usually it's like two people coming together to form a connection. So like once you are in a relationship with someone, it's like you don't become the other person and the other person becomes you. You are still two individuals in a relationship. You still maintain your individuality, your autonomy. So there are bound to be some differences between you both, because you are two separate individuals. So in order to make the relationship work, there will need to be some compromising. For example, maybe it is you who likes to stay at home on Fridays, but your partner likes to go out on Fridays. And so there would need to be some compromising there, because if there weren't any compromising, someone would need to sacrifice their Friday nights for the other person's idea of a perfect Friday night. In order to have harmony and balance in the relationship, both would need to come into some agreement of possibly, one Friday night we go out and one Friday night we stay at home, and so forth. That way everyone gets what they want. Yeah, so just be mindful whether you are making space to negotiate, to work things out with a partner or with a person that you are wanting to get to know. Yeah, because the vibe I'm getting with the Five of Wands, it's a very defensive vibe. It's like someone who is putting up a wall, someone who is creating a lot of resistance. Like they are not willing to listen. They don't want to talk things out. It's more like it's my way or it's the highway. And like this kind of energy is not allowing for relationships to evolve, to grow, to deepen. Yeah, so this could be the energy of someone that you are dating or getting to know. Like this is someone who might be very defensive or put up walls. And if so, that could be a heads up that maybe it will be difficult to communicate with this person, to try and work things out with this person. Or if this is your energy, this is kind of a heads up and advice that this kind of mindset and mentality is not allowing for relationships to unfold. Yeah, so there is an advice here to cooperate. Of course, don't do anything that doesn't align with you, with your morals, with your values. Because compromising, negotiating, cooperating, it's about seeing what is okay. Like, where can we make some adjustments to fit each other's needs so that everyone is attended to? Okay, for those of you who are single and you are trying to attract love into your life, I feel like Spirit is advising you to let loose a little bit. Yeah, because with don't make plans, what is coming to mind is someone who is trying to manifest a significant other, but they're being super specific as to who this person needs to be, when they need to meet them, and how they need to meet them. Yeah, the Five of Wands has that vibe of it's my way or the highway. Like, it needs to happen by this time, or if it doesn't, I don't want it. Or it needs to be with this person, and if it isn't with this person, then I don't want it. And I feel like this is creating a lot of resistance, because with the message, don't make plans, I feel like what you think should be might not necessarily be what truly is. It might just be that Spirit is asking you to not focus on this too much. It's like, don't make plans when it comes to this. And what they mean by that is just don't focus so much on the details. This one is confusing to me, because it's like universe wants to surprise you, but they can't surprise you if you're making plans about what they are wanting to surprise you with. Because the vibe I'm getting here, it's like you are going to get exactly what it is that you desire. You are. But how it's going to unfold, how it's going to happen, it's meant to be a surprise. So stop planning. Don't make plans. Let us surprise you. And I don't know why, but this is coming through as a huge lesson for you guys. It could have something to do with trusting in the unfoldment of things, like letting go of control, possibly. And I feel like this is affecting other areas of your life, because just to give you an example, let's say if someone believes that they are going to meet their person at their current work or job, and they have become fixed on this idea, they might not leave their current job even if they hate it, because they are fixated on the idea that this is where they're going to meet their person. So it's like, this is not only affecting their love life because it's creating resistance, but it's also affecting other areas of their life, like their work life, because they're choosing to stay at a workplace that isn't allowing for them to grow, that they don't like anymore, that doesn't fulfill them, for all the wrong reasons. And in this case, Spirit will come through to say it's all the wrong reasons because you won't be meeting your person at this workplace. Like, your person isn't anywhere near here. And in actuality, you're going to meet your person at the supermarket on a random day. It's going to be very, very random. It's nowhere near your work or in a work situation. Yeah, so that's why I feel like universe is asking you to not make plans when it comes to this. Like, don't get fixated on an idea, because that's only going to get you stuck. And the reason why they're also advising this is because how this is going to happen, how you're going to meet your person, or how this romantic love affair or love story is going to unfold is going to be so random. It's going to happen when it's meant to happen, at the time that it's meant to, and it's going to be so unexpected. It's going to feel very serendipitous. That's the vibe I'm getting, but it's not going to be planned. You know, it's not like a set time, a set place, and it's going to unfold in this very specific way. It's none of that. So getting fixated on an idea of how it's supposed to happen and when, it's kind of pointless, because anything you come up with will not end up being what will actually happen. So that's why I feel like Spirit is saying, you know, redirect your focus onto other things. Don't make plans when it comes to this. Be open to it, because the more you are open to it, the easier it will be for universe to swoop in and give you exactly what it is that you desire, for universe to surprise you. Yeah, that's kind of the message that is coming through with these two cards. So for those of you who are single, who aren't seeing anyone, I don't see anyone coming into your life in that way this month, but that is not to say that someone won't be entering into your life pretty soon. Yeah, because this is literally universe hinting at you that, yeah, they know what it is that you want. They know who it is that you want to get to know, and they're working on it. They're working on it, but they also want to surprise you, so they're not going to give you a lot of info when it comes to this. And the more that you seek, the less information you'll get, or they might give you hints that aren't actually hints. And it's sort of to keep you appeased for a little while, or to keep you distracted, because they aren't going to reveal anything to you. The point here is to surprise you, and the point here is for you to kind of release control, for you to be open, to be receptive, to put those walls down, to put your guard down. I feel like that's the aim here. Yeah, because I feel like they want for you, or they are encouraging you to be a bit more spontaneous, not get so attached to specific outcomes or specific ways in which things should unfold. Because life is so unexpected, you know, not everything is planned, and not everything is meant to be planned and planned ahead of time. Yeah, so they are wanting for you to be a little bit more flexible. Yeah, but those are all the messages I am seeing here. So now I'm just going to pull out some oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and guidance from Spirit for the month of June. Ooh. Okay, so this one flipped over. This one fell out. So we have, good things are happening to you too. Remember this and know there is plenty for everyone. Yeah, I feel like this is referring to, like, there's no need to compare yourself to others. There's also no need to compete. There's no need for competition. There is room and space for everyone. And like, good things will be happening to you too. They are happening to you. There's room for everyone to shine. But we also have the message, there's no limit to your capacity to enjoy this moment in time. Embrace it now fully. Yeah, focus on what it is that you can control now. Focus on where it is that you can make a positive impact right here and now. Yeah, don't get so caught up in the future or future prospects that you forget to live in the moment, because the future isn't out there, isn't over there. The future is created in the here and now. And I'm just going to pull out one more card. Okay, and we have abundance. It's on its way as much as you'll allow. Be open to receiving. Yep, so if you need a confirmation that you are definitely manifesting what it is that you desire, then here it is. All that universe is asking for you is to be open to receive. Yeah, don't limit yourself with false notions of what should be. Be open to being surprised, because the universe will definitely surprise you. Okay, but these are all the messages we have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I am wishing you a wonderful month of June, and until the next moment, bye bye.